call the meeting to order. And while we're saying the Pledge of Allegiance, let's please recall what happened 80 years ago today, that over 400,000 servicemen landed in Normandy. My father was on the second wave, and he saw Teddy Roosevelt with his cane walking up the beach between all the fire and water. Okay, let's start the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to a meeting of the Stamford Selectboard. If you have a matter to discuss that is not included on the agenda, you may do so by addressing the chairperson and stating your name and address. You'll notice that all our meetings are recorded, and this is to aid with the summarization of the minutes. Visitors are welcome, and we allow 5 minutes of comments per visitor and 15 minutes per topic. Discussions will be held in a calm and civilized manner and respectful of others. Select board members present are Nancy Bashika. Will there be any adding of items that can't wait until next meeting or removing from tonight's agenda? Lori, do you have anything to add? I do not. Okay. Will there be any adjustments to the agenda, such as changing the order of the items? And just to make note, Jeb is recording the recording the select board meetings, okay. Hearing of visitors. Bill.
I'm coming as the town's CUD representative, DB Fiber associate rep. And discussion lately is how to allocate and what to do with the $7,500 in ARPA funds that we put aside and gave to DB Fiber to help use. You can take one of these and pass it along.
What we'd like to do is come up with a plan between DB Fiber and the select board as to how that money should be spent, how it should be asked for by the residents of town that might need help. This document that Bill just shared with you is DB Fiber's suggestion for people to self-certify that they need the support. We're not in the business of getting into people's finances. I can't imagine you guys are either. All right, and this is a suggestion as to what DB Fiber would say. The people can self-certify that they need support in the installation of their fiber connection to their home. Typically, that's going to be an underground conduction, an underground conduit or something like that that isn't there. There are currently seven now, people in town that are waiting on a conduit to be installed before they're...
Well, they're waiting on for something, and it might be from the air or conduit, but mostly conduit.
So, a suggestion, this is going to be your choice as to how you want to divvy up that $7,500 over how many people might need it. Digging ditches, you can go through money pretty quickly. We were talking at the DB Fiber, what meeting were we in last night? I don't know.
Last night was the executive.
We were talking in one of the meetings about this. We had a meeting with the chair of DB Fiber about this before this yesterday. And, at $7,500, there could be 10 people at $750 to help support their installation. Or it could be 5 people at $1,500, but, it doesn't go very far, but we'd like to stretch it as far as we could.
Nancy, wasn't there a match?
Yeah, we put 75 in and the
There
state,
was a match from the state to DB Fiber.
For that,
So,
So that other 700,
Yeah,
7,500.
is unrestricted support to DB Fiber for everybody's use.
how did we vote on this it wasn't this March, it was a year ago, March, that we would use for what? How did we word that? Can you read that warrant article?
What we'd like to do is get it ahead in front of you and ask to be on the agenda at the next meeting, that we can make a decision on how that happens.
To think about whether something like this is a way to approach what somebody needs. Gives them a way of outlining what they need and how much it might cost, and it's their responsibility to get an estimate of how much it would cost. And there's also a form so that they can certify their need, and there's some guidelines as to that need.
Who decides on this?
You.
Oh, I don't like that.
So-
I don't like that.
If we set up a policy as to how it's gonna be done, then there's nothing involved in, oh, that's my neighbor, or that's my uncle, or this or that. Right? If it's a policy that we gotta say, okay, first 10 people that show up, get 750, but if they self-certify and they need it and all this type of stuff. So,
When is the money gonna be available?
well, the money is available now.
Yeah, so what is the average cost? Does anybody have an idea what the cost is for the underground conduit that everybody,
We don't.
the 7 people are required?
Every situation is likely different depending upon the conditions that they're digging in the ground.
You don't have like
The
an
land.
average per foot cost, you don't know if they haven't told you?
We could probably try and find out more of that from some of our contractors.
Cause I know personally, cause I've got DB fiber, and like the length from pole to the house, it was like substantial, it was like 400 feet, anything over 400 feet, then they would charge you.
Something for a foot.
But it
of
was,
wire.
that's like 4 poles, and I don't foresee anybody needing 400 feet, but the underground conduit is another situation.
Yeah, according to most of our pre-survey results, because we had a company do a pre-survey on all addresses in town, the undergrounds, 95% of them are less than 200 feet. But some of these people with a 200-foot underground might not need any assistance.
Well, that's a pretty low number that they're talking on the back here of what it looks, at least the self-certification for financial aid.
Yeah.
It's a number.
Our intention when we put the money aside was for people who were going to really need assistance.
Right, that's,
And this is
maybe
the
out of
way,
77 people, there might be one that might qualify.
right now, we have 7 people that they've identified, they've applied and said they're interested, and they're not ready to get a connection. Because of all kinds of security and priority, Bob and I both had to take a 20-page program of reading how the rules are, of what information you can give out to people, and send a certificate back to DV Fiber that we read it and will abide by it. And they haven't released those 7 people's names to us. Hopefully within the next week they will. We'll go up and look at them. In fact, those people that are within 300 feet of the pole, they will send out, they will connect through to the house in the area.
If that's okay with the homeowner.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's, the homeowner might not want an area.
Well, what are you, you know what I mean, what are you supposed to do? You can't like,
So this,
you want to
just a
get it
suggestion
done.
for this is possibly, DD Fiber can say, well, there is a program through the town, you can get some assistance. And you need to communicate with the town to do that.
If we decide that we want to allow $500 as a maximum award, which means you can take up to the first 15 people that have need, and you can give them up to $500 toward the cost that they're going to have. These are the things that we'd like you to think about for 2 weeks, and we'll come back and try and form a policy for it.
Wouldn't we need some kind of deadline to apply, basically?
No, the money's there.
You're saying,
We
once
got people
money's
being
gone,
installed
It's
now.
gone.
there won't be any other money added. It's
Well,
once
that's
gone.
it, and the
First come, first.
homeowner needs to pay for the job, and this is, DB Fiber will reimburse them that through.
Mhm.
Homeowner needs to pay the portion that is coming from the ARPA funds will be paid to the contractor direct
Oh, is that
by
what they want
DB
to do?
Fiber.
Okay.
So if they have a project that's within the amount that we're gonna grant them, they don't have to put up any money at all. If it's $1,000, and we're only gonna give them 500, they'll have to put up the first 500.
That's a fair assessment, yeah.
Beyond that, they want the money from this to be paid to the contractor directly, so there's no
Oh, yeah,
question
absolutely, I don't,
of it being done
I
properly.
remember that.
So we can think about this for 2
Yes.
We just wanted to take our 5 minutes and see what you think about it.
Lori, can you read that warrant article? And then we have an explanation there too, but that's in the.
Yeah, our warrant article just says, shall the town of Stamford contribute 7,500 to DB fiber,
Okay, and then we said something in the explanation.
but, which is probably in your select board report.
Yeah. No, maybe not.
I know we talked about it at a
Yeah.
select board meeting, and said if it's not all used, you want it to come down.
Yeah.
Oh, here. We ask voters to approve warrant article 12 for 7,500 to pay DB fiber in support of its commitment to connect high-speed internet service to every house in town which has an electric grid connection. The funds will be used to assist those of limited means with a one-time connection cost. DB fiber is receiving a grant and will match the town's donation.
So it just says limited needs, okay.
Just as a note also, we said a one-time connection cost. We didn't limit it to conduit, even though that was our underlying thought. And if somebody has a $250 cost to get it to the house, and then needs another $125 for over 50-foot cabling inside the house, we could still apply for that, that money to them within the 500 or 1,000, whatever limit we set.
Because it doesn't say,
We didn't make it specific.
no, we didn't, no.
alright,
This is
so,
limited needs.
what if there's already a conduit there, and there's a cable in place that they're using now, like, whatever, like consolidated? Couldn't you just technically like tie it on to the other one, and as you're pulling out the other cable, pull it
DB
through?
fiber will not do that.
No,
You could.
You,
With your electrician. could.
if the homeowner wants to give up their,
so DV fiber saying that they want their own designated conduit, or?
no, they just want a conduit with a pull cord.
But they won't pull someone else's wire?
That's correct.
They won't touch anybody else's wiring. But
Gotcha.
if the homeowner or their contractor wants to pull out that old wire and put a pull cord in, it's perfectly acceptable.
Laura?
I had that done. I had conduit in my house and I had a string through my conduit to my house, just in case for future use, and this is exactly what happened. DV fiber came up, they did it, they snaked it through. I had nothing in there, mine was vacant, but if they were stating if there was some other line, it can't be on electricity, so certain things it can't be in the same conduit with. And they can give you more guidance on that.
That was good thinking.
Yeah.
Do you have another string in there for anything?
There's a little bit of water in there frozen, but they got it out.
Yeah.
It'll work.
But once we have those 7 people's locations as the first people that we know, and it won't be limited to those 7 people, we'll go out and look at their particular situation. Maybe they want conduit, maybe they don't, maybe they just needed more education.
No, I think we'll just let them know that there is funds available through the town. That's why we're trying to get ahead of it for you guys,
Mhm.
so you can set up the policy as to how that will be paid out.
Okay.
Thank you.
One question. Do you know of any other towns that have a policy in place already?
Yes.
Halifax, or something.
Then,
Halifax has got a policy and they have allocated, don't quote me, I think $40,000 from their ARPA funds. And they have a procedure, and we can get you a copy of their qualifying rate. Reedsboro, however much they allocated, said, we'll give $50 for the first month of connection fees to the first 150 or the first number of people that connect.
I'd like to see some of the other towns' policies, because it's always good to
Those are
see
the
what they're
only
doing.
two that,
Reference.
Yeah.
they,
Halifax has got a lot of underground services, though. There's a large section of Halifax that's underground stuff.
So
The
if you could
utility
see
and
their
all.
policies, if you could email them to me or have them email them to me, and we can look at them
Okay.
just for
We'll give what we can.
ideas. Thank you. Okay, any other visitors here? Yeah,
I have, just three things, I'll try to be quick. Yeah, sure. Dave, this is a question, actually, two of them are for you. Are you getting split wood this year?
Yep.
Has it gone out to bid, or,
Nope, I ordered it.
so you just locally?
Out of Cheshire.
Okay, so nobody was able to bid on that?
Nope.
Okay, is that normal, or it?
we,
Because I mean, there's so many people here that do wood processing.
we
That's
it never came up
Exactly.
before.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
part of
just
the
like
problem.
lawn mowing or anything.
Yeah, never
If
came up
I took the
before.
time to bid every, I mean, it's very little.
And you're
money.
under certain
It's
amount
under
that.
$2,000. I mean, if I bid out everything that was a couple $1,000, that'd be my full-time job.
Right, that's true, we didn't.
No, we don't bid
I would just
oil.
throw it out there, in town, I deliver wood for $2.50, so keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Split, stack,
Split and deliver,
I noticed that my pile next door is getting lower, so. you gotta
in
pile.
town only.
I will say that the wood I'm getting is extremely high quality, it's dry. It's about as dry as you're gonna get, it's not green. And I can get it in the middle of the winter and it's dry. So, it's $300 a board, but.
never
it's-
came up before, Deb.
It's well worth it, with the stove we
Yeah,
have,
well,
with the stove we have to have super cordial. I was going through 12 quart a year, now I'm going through 6, so
Okay.
it's a big difference.
Didn't realize the town
My
was part of
second,
it.
Yeah,
regarding the magnesium chloride, isn't that like really corrosive to vehicles?
Less than calcium chloride.
Right, but just to keep dust down, and it's a little harmful to the trees and plants. I'm just
Well,
curious, just.
Actually, magnesium, the stuff we used is the caliber 2000 stuff. It's supposed to be more environmentally better than the alternative, basically. And
I mean,
the
it's
same-
nice, don't get me wrong, it's really nice driving without a big dust cloud behind you, but.
Well, it's for the stabilization of the road, so it keeps regrading down, so there's fewer grading. Really, I think it does less harm to your vehicle because you're not beating it over the bumps as often.
Right.
Loose stones that would chip in your car. I mean, take your pick, you know, it's the lesser of two evils is all I can tell you. There's no perfect
Okay.
scenario. And for the most part, we put it down in, a couple minutes, it's kind of absorbed into the ground, and you're not gonna get it on your vehicle. It's
Oh,
just-
I did, I was right behind you, that's what I thought.
Oh.
It's just
My
a matter
brand new
of-
truck, I'm like, oh
I
my
guess
God.
it's just-
does it mix in with the pollen and yellow and yellow?
It's just kind of
and-
bad timing, and knowing that, you would probably want to leave your car home and spray it off.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. So
I
it's
did,
kind of,
yeah,
it's
it's all.
a necessary evil. We don't do a lot of it, we only kind of spot grade. There's other places that tractor trailers come in and just do the whole road,
Run check.
so we just spot, and treat. And if it's, I don't put it down if there's, we get plenty of rain, I don't bother with it. The roads were packed in pretty good this year, and I wanted to get ahead of some of the washboards, so we went out last week and, kind of hit some of the spots that were holding good, and hopefully that'll help. Plus we put gravel down on the Sure Hill, so I wanna make sure I got some chloride into that. There's been a lot of money on gravel, just to keep it. If somebody comes up with a better idea, let me
Oh,
know.
no, I'm just curious.
Did you just use water, or no, is that?
It would just
It
evaporate.
just evaporates so fast.
The mag is actually, from what I've read on it, and you could read it up, it's actually like not harmful for people really, and they use it in medicine. But yeah, there's a corrosive element. The stuff that we use, they have an additive to make it less corrosive, even because that's the same stuff that's in there in the winter, and they try to combat it. But that's why I don't use calcium, because calcium's horrible. So, trying to be consistent. It doesn't, mag doesn't work as good as the calcium. So it's way less corrosive, so, and the calcium's more harmful.
Number 3?
Last one, of course, I have to bring up the FEMA file, guys. We're coming up on the deadline for signing it. I know you guys all voted not to move forward townwide. I would like to have you guys seriously consider putting that into an ordinance rather than just a vote, so that in the future, this doesn't come up and we would have missed an opportunity with FEMA, so that it is more fair to other applicants, so that it's not subjective. And I think that's an important thing for you to consider. If you're gonna move forward, if you're serious about it, or if the next person that comes up, you all can just vote to reverse that. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, look what happened to me. 7 months go by and you all vote to reverse it. So I think, in fairness to the entire town, it needs to be an ordinance.
Has the deadline been pushed back? August 16th?
Not sure, the deadline for this past one, I think, is still the same, but for.
So I heard that
Yeah.
there was other programs that we, I think, at one time investigated that were a 25% match for municipalities. So I think the governor removed that now, so I think they're all fully funded by the state, which includes elevations, floodplain mitigation, things of that nature, whatever it may consist of. So there's no longer a match by the municipalities, and I think they pushed the deadline back
Well,
too long.
it wasn't necessarily a match for the municipalities, it was for the homeowner or the business owner, was mostly the match for that. Some of them were municipalities as well.
Wherever
The one I read
the
would
match
be-
is gone.
Elevation was municipal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So those matches are gone,
well,
or whatever that.
we hope, I mean,
Yeah.
we hope.
Okay. Reading and approval of records and orders. Regular minutes of May 16th.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Road conditions. Dave, what do you have on
We're
roads?
working on roadside mowing
Yep.
at this point, so. I would say that most of the grading's done. There's a few more class 4 roads that need to be done, but, class 3s have been done. So we moved on to roadside mowing now, and we'll, if it's too wet, we'll probably do some ditching or go out and regrade some spots that get rough. And, like I said earlier, we were putting down some gravel. I put, some down on the Shirt Hill, cause it was getting back down to the stone that we put back in '09. So it was getting almost impossible to be able to grade it without having just all rock. We put down some on Klondike on the class 4, because we like to keep that loop. That's the way out if there's issues on Mill Road or County Road, and a lot of the stones were sticking up pretty high, so needed to cover them before somebody took a metal pan out.
I was up there, last night, and there was, 2 residents, they wanted to thank you for the great job you did on the class 3 part of the Klondike, especially the hill. I guess you did it, you waited and they came back and pushed the stones down and you did a great job. And, they just wanted to thank you.
It's really nice.
Well, we graded it. We had graded it, and then I think I did it on a Friday or something, and the weekend just ruined it. I went for a ride that Monday morning and went around, and the road, and the hill was already rough, so I went back the next day. It was light rain.
Yeah.
Because there's an ideal situation where it really makes a big difference. And then once it rolled in with the rain, when I chlorided, we went and chlorided it,
Yeah.
so it should be holding, it's holding nice now, but.
Did you do the class 4 from Klondike up to Sucker Pond, that part?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you filled that
So-
in, yeah.
Last year, it was just too wet to even think about doing anything out there. So this year we had this dry spell, so I took the opportunity to try to do something there.
Someone was asking, who put that nice stone down there?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's stuff that the power company had put
Yeah.
down when they did their project. But,
That's what I thought it was, yeah.
But, yeah, it came out, I'd say fairly good for a class 4.
Yeah.
So,
I would say I appreciate your timing on the roadside mowing too, helps keep the invasives down, way better than the state schedule when they do it right at sea. So they perpetuate the
Or
problem.
after, right, yeah.
Timing on that is great.
we tried to get out and mow the knotweed a week or so ago.
So you can really notice the difference too if you ride the state highway or
It's
back roads
amazing how much-
when the parsnip and things come out.
Did you get the knotweed on Mill?
No.
Okay.
There isn't.
Yeah, there is.
On Mill Road?
Right before J-Truck, yep.
Oh, we was bank on the right
Yep.
side.
Knotweed's gonna be a
No,
major problem, it's
Oh,
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, Stamford Mountain now.
It's basically covered in almost every wet area, river bank, everything.
Yeah.
They do have pretty flowers in the
You can make good wine out of it.
Why people like them, and yeah, that's why you gotta get people to either drink it or eat it, right?
Yeah.
Dave, I'm grading and filling some potholes. Down at the cemetery, the exit road, there's a few potholes, and I don't know how often you grade or fill, there's just,
On the exit road, we
On the
typically
exit
don't
road.
maintain that, that's not a town road.
going up to
That's-
Gruden's,
Going up to Gruden's it is, but
Yeah,
not
that's
the
the
other
ex-
road.
that's the exit road, isn't it?
That's the entrance.
No, they reversed it.
Oh,
The entrance is
Cool.
between.
Going
Well, I always
around.
figured
Maybe you can sign.
into the outdoor.
Signed by Bruce Robar says entrance.
Yes.
no, those were fairly large, and I went over there a couple weeks ago and with the loader to try to get them to drain before I could grade it.
Okay,
Because they were so, they were big water holes, basically.
okay, so you know and.
We're getting to it, yeah.
Get to
we'll
them,
get
okay,
that.
yeah.
Wagons only went one way, didn't
See
they?
that?
Huh?
Wagons only went.
Exactly.
I've done that.
It goes between.
Like gold copy of that.
Were you able,
Oh, my beer.
Dave, were you able to perform any of the safety recommendations that the VLCT recommended at the garage?
Say that.
Well, just do a little at a time.
I mean, we have done things over the years, but
Well, since he came down,
there's no money to do anything that you recommended.
well,
But there are also recommendations, they're not, somebody's gonna die here, so.
Yeah, we need to make it look like.
I can make a lot of recommendations, I can't get to all of them.
no, don't, as long as you do one or two
Yeah.
a while and
There is one
show that we're trying
particular
to
one on
do
the
them.
hit list, which is the eyewash fountain, but I've just, because we're so busy.
The eye wash and
If it
straighten
starts,
the
we start
railing.
getting a bunch of rainy days and I'm
Okay.
struggling to find something to do, that's when I'll, but it's been good working with
And
it.
then one more question, summer work hours,
Yeah,
because in the winter, I know you're on call
right,
24/7.
correct,
And in summer, you go in earlier, an hour
yes,
earlier.
yes.
What, 6 to?
I
2
usually
or
work 5:30 to 2 and might
Ooh.
work 6 to 2:30. Cause a lot of times in the morning, I take the opportunity to go ride and look at places, so I'm not killing his time too,
5:30.
just mine.
Ooh.
So it gives me a half hour to check something out if I'm gonna do that project or not for the day.
You're out early.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm up. It's kinda hard to switch schedules to,
Cause you're waiting for snow in the summer.
yeah, I mean, I'm up at
That's
2:30 in the morning, so by, 5:30, I'm already.
I'm sure you're the type of guy that just completely shuts it right off too, as soon as you get home, right?
Right, yeah, right. Okay,
So that's the schedule anyways.
okay,
That's what
Typically, unless,
Yeah.
some days we, sometimes jobs take longer. This
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
a mill work where I can just shut a machine down. If I'm in the middle of something, I gotta stay later.
right,
Come Friday or some other day when I've got something to do, I might leave earlier.
but you're adjusting
Yeah.
your hours, yep. Anything else on roads before we move on to two things? Yes, Lori?
I have something on roads that I haven't had a chance to tell Dave about yet. The class 2 highway program that we applied for, the grant, it looks like we're on the list for approval.
So that would be, Easter Road.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That's the East
And what was,
Road,
what did
shim
we?
and chip
Shim
seal.
and chip seal.
Ooh,
I don't know if the money would cover I guess we gotta wait and see what it is, but I don't
Yeah.
think it covered the full amount, but that's great if they're gonna give us, I think we put it for 200,000.
Yeah, I just got the email on it, so
Okay.
we put
What about
it-
the guardrails, are we waiting for
So,
guardrails?
yeah, I was actually gonna mention that, it's supposed to be the week of the 16th, that's what the guy told me of June. That's when I'm under schedule.
So it'll get done
I'm
June
hoping,
16th you're hoping?
well, if I was doing it and I told you that's what was gonna happen, it would happen.
But it's scheduled for,
It's scheduled for it, and we talked to FEMA, was it yesterday, Lori,
yeah,
on the phone about it, so hopefully all that stuff is finally put to rest too.
And any more FEMA update that are completed other than the guardrail one? I know you've been on the phone with them
for
forever.
hours and hours
Hours.
this week, and new forms, and new this and new that, yeah. Yeah.
Are we completing any of the roads or?
Yeah, I worked with him today and I sent what I hope is the final information he was looking for. He wanted, documentation, evidence to show, like, for the past years that we regularly maintain the road. What do you want me to send you? Yes, we maintain the road.
Pictures of the plow.
I guess our time
Yes,
sheets.
time
of-
Time
they
sheets,
work on the
yeah.
road, money we spend on the road.
You know, the stuff that they want is just
Really?
kind of silly.
Very time consuming, very time
Do
consuming.
my phone, a couple shovels and stand on the
Well,
road.
the worst part is they've already come down, the state's already come down, FEMA's already been here, they've already looked at
They've
all
already
over.
inspected it.
They've done all that, and this is just going backwards now, for no
Yeah.
reason at all,
Yeah.
other than somebody just has a bunch of time
Well, hang in there and keep submitting your time.
Yeah, yeah, Dave and I put in a lot of work this week trying to, a lot of hours.
Anything else, Dave, before we move on under? Okay. So we have, county road reclassification. We talked about this back in October of 2022. This is 3/10 of a mile. We talked about declassifying from a class 4 road to a trail, and it's from the, Connell line back to Stamford, and it's about where the power lines are.
Yeah, where the high voltage lines cross the road.
Yeah. So we had a couple of questions. We signed a resolution that VASA has permission to use that .3 county road. And then we asked Lori in November to look into a VLCT clarification of who owns the town road when it becomes a trail. And she got a response from the Vermont AOT that even though National Forest owns on both sides of the trail, it's still a town trail road. It does not revert to National Forest. So that was in November of 2022. And by the time we wanted to start the process, we couldn't get up there because of snow. So that's one of the major delays. So are we still gonna move forward with this?
Yeah, I got up there, no problem.
Yeah. We can,
There's no reason not to do it, correct?
Right.
We can always go backwards if we wanted to,
Right.
put that,
right.
put a highway through it or
I
something.
think it's unnecessary, I think it takes some liability off the town. This
Right,
one is
and
necessary.
it helps your club, simple as that, that's the whole reason we're talking about this,
Yeah.
is so that trail can connect. You
Yep.
guys can move forward.
Yes.
Well, doesn't it connect now?
No. Because
Oh, cause you want to go up the
they have to
307
have,
or
even though
something,
they have
yeah.
permission to
301.
ride on it, it's not
301.
considered a
301, yeah.
connector.
Yeah, just
Correct.
public use for the connector.
Right.
That.
If VASA won't shut that down, they can't because it's not theirs.
No.
So even though it'll be a VASA connector, we can still drive through the pond.
Still belongs to the town.
Okay.
Correct.
So if we wanna start, if Lori can pull the
I thought we
steps
did
that we
so,
have
yeah.
to do
Yep.
to start this reclassification, there's certain steps we have to follow, a site inspection, meetings, notifications, all within a certain time schedule.
Do we need
So
a
many days.
Do we need a motion at this point?
No, Mike made one back in November,
Yeah, I
October of
thought we had
22.
I don't remember exactly.
to begin the process of declassification.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I
Just
thought.
ran out of time for winter coming to start.
I do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
He did.
And I've been there, I don't need to go visit it again, I was there last night.
New Jeep?
I got a Jeep.
They only have a request to building and plow on class 4 portion of county road. And this is the part that is not plowed in winter, it's above, or it's just below,
It's like a
Jowett's.
couple lots, right, it's in between the Jowett lot and, Ron's house, so
Did he
it's on
not-
the class 4 part.
Did he not go through the process a few years back?
that was Mr. Walters. And he signs a form every year and gives us insurance.
Which one is? Ryan?
So this
Walker's
is-
is that other side of the road.
This is somebody that wants to buy it, we don't have his
But
name.
there's a camp there for sale, and he must wanna buy it, have permission to build there.
Well, how much farther would have to be?
It's,
Yeah, I don't know.
Jowett had permission at one time, right? So
Yes.
it's below
That's what I'm
Jowett.
saying, I thought he already had permission.
This is a different piece of
Third
property.
one, this will be a third one.
It's just below Jowett's on the right going up. There's a camp for sale right now on the right, so we can't get some, like 20.
And this is just to make sure it gets plowed every time or something?
Well, he wants to be able to do it, which that's an easy one, because we give permission for that. You have to have your liability, and you can plow it. The building part, I don't see why you can't build up there. We don't restrict that, our bylaws don't say you can't build.
No, they don't say you can't build.
It's in the fort,
I mean,
You can build
it doesn't
on it,
necessarily
yeah.
concern me that it's before the other property that we're already plowing past, but how often can we keep perpetually going down the line doing this, right? Do we keep going farther down, we keep bonding people all the way, the whole length of
Gotta
class
start
4 road to where we just reclassify the road to a class 3 road?
We gotta
I mean,
start
at what
thinking
point,
about
at
that.
what
We
point,
could, I mean, someday,
Do we have
I
a
think
bigger
that would be the only
conversation?
way to get.
I mean, that's a
Road.
huge conversation just about how the town wants to develop, or
Yeah.
whether it does or doesn't wanna develop that conversation alone.
And it's not like there's small lots up there, so it's not like there's gonna be 1 acre lots with
No.
people building.
And like I've been saying
Big
too,
lots.
it's free, I mean, it's free to roam right now, there's no restrictions on building in the forest other than you need 5 acres.
Mhm.
There's no conditional usage anymore, so. It's a,
And there's
it's a
power.
huge conversation that
By
probably,
this, there's power going by this.
yeah, there's power up
Yeah.
to the, right up to the top now,
Right.
right? Just
There's
waiting
one.
for it to go down the other
Goes
side,
on there,
yeah, so it's, yeah, it's a huge conversation, probably bigger than tonight, but.
Sure.
That's all I was just, I guess that was my concern, are we just gonna keep stacking bondings all the way up the road?
Well, it'd be smart if they got together and just did
That's
one
what
house,
Right.
once there's a fuel.
That's why I was a little confused, because, they're already plowing
I mean,
past
if
where.
Jowett's doing it,
where
or
he's
the other two don't
asking.
really have to
Never
do it.
followed through on
He
it.
didn't, no.
no.
Jowett never followed through with it.
So they'd have to plow past where they're currently.
The other guy across the street, yeah. But there is, I mean, we don't have to give him permission, it's already there,
Right,
correct?
that's kind of what I was.
To Walters, but
It's
not.
in the-
No, but I'm saying, if he has all the criteria, it's already there.
Yes,
Right,
He
so,
has to fill out the form.
so there's the agreement that you would want to send him and
Yes.
have him sign it.
yes.
I mean, that's gonna become hugely desirable.
And for building, he has to go through depth. And,
It's flat, there's water source.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice piece of land up
all sewage and everything.
There's one across the
Goes
street
down
for
the other
sale.
direction, goes to the other side of the
Yep.
mountain. It's food for thought, but I'm not saying I'm for or against it, but it's a huge conversation.
Yeah.
Anything else under roads?
So did you set it, take a look at that or not?
Well, that's the thing too, with this, how long does it take for this process to end?
The
So-
declassification.
Yeah, so what is the process? We're saying we're gonna follow through the process, so I already made the motion a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the site visit's mandatory?
So we have
Yes.
to notify all the abutters along the way, and I don't know how many there might be, we have to figure that
So
out.
national
We
forest.
set a site
Right.
inspection meeting, which is a public you go and view it,
Mhm.
and then you can come back and decide what you wanna do.
Probably have to notify the Appalachian Trail
Yeah.
Club or something like that.
Yep, you do, in the state, and the, yeah,
Why?
there's a whole list.
They own the
Are they a
trail,
butter?
they own the,
Lawn trail.
right away to the trail, long trails at AT, that cuts right through there.
Is it
I
beyond the
don't
power
think it goes
lines?
through that property.
Cuts right down the trail,
Yeah,
right across the trail.
It cuts down on Risky
It's
Man,
back this way, so it's not,
Cuts across Old
cuts all
County.
the old town.
Yeah, Old County, then
But
it cuts
before,
across.
but before this piece we're talking about though.
Well, it's not
this way,
after.
so it's not.
I'm assuming, I was assuming the trail wanted
Back
to go all the way out there, but I think.
No, it's just before the, if you're coming from here, it's just before the high tension.
Doug said it's not affected by it.
No, and we're going past the high tensions. It's literally a
I
quarter
was
mile.
thinking a different section of the road.
Yeah, it's when you get past the tension, it goes down, and I'm pretty sure the high tension, the power company and the national forest.
I think you should set a date so that when you're notifying the abutters that there's a site visit on such and such a date.
Yeah,
So you're
Yes.
doing this once, so you gotta pick a
right,
date.
so
Yes.
that's not, how long do we have where we have to post it?
I'll have to pull the rules and see, I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure off the top of my head, we don't do it enough.
The reason why I'm saying that, the sooner it's done, the sooner they can get to Vasa and tell them this has been done.
It'll be winter. If we just, we'll be in the same boat again, it'll be winter if we don't.
You're right.
No, we'll
Yeah.
get on.
Not that I'm trying to be pushy, but
Oh, but the snow's gonna fly pretty soon, right?
We can get the, does it have to be an order to it? We can get the site visit out of the way pretty quick, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I
Well,
think
we
we
gotta
have to
watch
post
what
it.
the order,
I think it's a 30 day. I think most of
Yeah.
those are 30.
follow the checklist.
Yep,
But we can look
Notify the
that up
state.
real quick and easy.
Yeah.
Get the good description of it, how many .3, is it exactly .3, and
so I have another question though. If this is to reclassify it, but does that have to happen for you guys? Isn't that already a connector?
It's, right now, it's the language with, that connector that we need to solidify a connector to 301 down to Pownell.
Okay.
Right now, I don't think we have that in there, to my knowledge. You?
What's that, a connector?
Right,
Not a public connector.
not a public connector, we only did.
So how will this process help you do that?
That will solidify, if you go down to legal trail, it will help get, the connector trail to 301 down to Pownell to keep everything up that way and, be able to help us maintain it and get grant money in the future. If we-
You don't, either whether it's a legal trail or a class 4, it doesn't really matter.
yeah,
They
that's
wanted
what
to do it because they wanted to take the liability off of
Yeah,
the town.
that's how, that's,
And once it's a legal trail, then there's no liability to the town for anything that happens there.
But if you're working on it, you need to notify Dave and what's going on too,
We
because
have to
it's still,
notify the Dave
Yep.
and this board, whatever we do up there.
Mhm.
You guys have to.
and your
30
VASA
days.
people,
Looking at the law.
is
What's
there
that?
the grant?
It's 30 days, I'm looking at the law.
To post it or to?
Today, it says the select board shall promptly appoint a time and date for examining the premises and hearing the persons interested and give 30 days notice to the petitioners or first people owning land to which the highway is passed or above.
So we'll make it July 6th or July 8th, whatever day it is. Whatever day's good. Doesn't matter.
30 days after you give them notice.
You have to give them a 30-day
Oh,
notice,
okay.
so we could do send out the notice.
Whatever that notice is, okay.
Calculate it, Lori, and
Yep.
tell us what date.
Before winter.
Do you wanna do it like 5 o'clock before select board meeting, 5:30, or do you want to pick a different day? Like a Monday and just do it? So that when I'm setting it, I know
Doesn't
what to do.
matter to me.
Doesn't matter to me.
I'm retired.
So you have to give
Did you
notice.
tell
of the
Teresa?
meeting.
No. Jen, you can edit that, right?
So it doesn't, you know, okay,
I think
figure it out.
You have to put it in the newspaper, you have to notify the planning commission, and you have to post it. here at the town office.
Okay. That's it on roads?
The notice has to be sent by certified mail.
Yeah, that's right.
To the butters.
Correct.
$8. Oh, that maybe.
I'll do it.
Probably 9 now.
$9? Well, luckily it's only 2 or 3.
I'm sure that the Stamford Club will don't put a great donation into something.
Okay, moving on to recycling.
Is that extortion?
I attended an alliance meeting last night by Zoom. The alliance budget has gone up 4.5%. It's up to $224,000 for the combined 13 towns. And Lori just got a check back from the alliance for $1,900. It's a percentage is returned to each town from the household hazardous waste facility construction, that we got grants and it came in cheaper and grants and everything, so all the towns got refunded a percentage that whatever they put in, because I think Stamford's only 2 or 3% that we put in towards the alliance. And the other thing is, just a note that they thought was interesting, and I did too, the eclipse glasses. One group and I think it's in Bennington County, collected 115,000 eclipse glasses, and they're gonna, whatever they do to them, and they give them to astronomy groups. So I thought, oh, that's nice, because they wanna recycle. That was all on recycling. And the other comment I had was, I haven't seen this myself, but there's, I know Buzz at Recycling Center likes his dogs and he gives them dog cookies. But we have people that are letting their dogs loose to go greet Buzz and running around up there. So should we say, Buzz, keep the dogs in the truck and don't let them run around, because
Is there a complaint?
there was a comment.
It's not really Buzz's fault though, it's our people, it's our dog owners, so.
Letting the dogs, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice, it's a small town, it's a nice thing to do.
No, it is.
Give them their collar and go get.
I know, but then
I say, let Buzz, it's
let them
not a
go
big deal. Like you said, if there's a complaint, you're always gonna get that one person to complain, Dave, you know, you didn't do a good job on the road. Too bad, I don't know what to say, you know? But this is,
But then you got people that are afraid of dogs.
Yeah.
I
And I know,
understand.
and we don't let them on the
Tell
school
them not to get out
property.
until we can people leave.
Yeah, just a,
I mean,
just.
Well, isn't there an ordinance, there's a leash law, right? So
Yes,
you should
there
be
is.
following the,
your dog, there's a leash law and or your dog has to be in control.
yeah.
And they,
So,
we
you
don't
got
want them on the
warehouses
I don't
school.
want to discourage Buzz from doing that, that's nice that he does that.
Well, he could go walk to their truck and give it to them.
Yeah, people
Yes, he
leave
does.
the dog in the car too.
Okay. Anything else on recycling? No. Emergency management, review and adopt local emergency management plan. Lori gave us, that's the older one, I downloaded, one sheet. I think you sent it to us, or you just sent it to me?
No, we get all guys.
We mainly just like updated it, right? We didn't really make any big changes.
Yeah,
I made a few changes in it, but,
yeah.
I kind of updated my name for bills in a lot of places, added the emergency operations coordinators, Sheila and Steve Johnson.
Stuart.
Stuart Johnson. I took some public information that was in there that I didn't feel needed to be in there about some of our residents that might be needy at times.
But you have them that you can contact with it, but it's just not a public part of the document.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good change.
I added in the amount that could be spent, I believe the budget is up to $5,000. Just, so that's one thing that the state, there is a kickback, that, you know, who can spend the money and how much can they spend? And the way I worded it was the emergency management director, the select board chair, or the town highway commissioner. Just the positions to spend up to $5,000. I think if we spend any money at all, we agree on it before we spend any money. I don't plan on spending money on this. So that's about, yeah, that whole back of the packet's all the same, I didn't change anything there. Change some phone numbers.
You had the public information and warning, local newspaper radio, your WNAW, is that still in effect? That's North Adams, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still there, it's still there.
Oh, okay.
But I think what we're gonna do better with, also on Stamford or some of the social media sites, I try to monitor them. Respond at least, so that people can, know that they're being heard.
Is it, I know it's under the primary local shelter, we have Randy as the principal, and do we keep him there till we really know who the next principal's gonna be? Because he's
Is that why
resigned.
you didn't respond to my email?
Could be,
I sent an email asking for a visit.
what do you think, do we leave it blank or keep him there until,
Leave it there because it's
They're
a
gonna-
document that you can always go back and update.
Yeah.
And the purpose of this is we wanna get this done, so.
Right.
It's,
So it's submitted to the state.
we haven't done this since 2017.
And if it's the principal's office's phone number,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
We can
At
always
least it's a
call,
contact
the
number.
minute there's a change, we can call out there.
yeah. The same with the WSSU, the school district office. And how, is Rich Christofolini still in contact?
He's somehow still involved.
He's still
He
involved.
is,
I
yeah.
was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Okay, Randy, Rich.
So I just have a question. If the emergency is road related and roads are washing out, Dave's gonna spend way more than $5,000 on the spot.
There's exceptions to it, Lori.
Okay, so that's not a limit.
They would know.
When we brought it up before the select board, we talked about Dave's out-of-hand authorization for up to $5,000 for anything he immediately needed. In an absolute emergency, there's no limit on what he spends or what Bob spends to protect life and property within reason.
We'll deal with that later.
You've gotta come back and justify, that's
Yeah.
like all the rules are suspended about going into brooks and the river
Yeah.
to do what's necessary. When you got to Irina, it was totally out the window. As much help as you could get and as many trucks and payloaders and graders and whatever else you could get to try and control it.
And the appendix A and B, what are the appendix of, where's that mentioned?
That's just,
Is
it's
that-
just that other sheet with the agreement, right? The town's emergency management agreement.
Did it go with ours? I bet.
I see it in one of them there. And one of them is
Here's
the additional phone number list.
Appendix B,
Yeah,
Appendix B3, emergency numbers.
I didn't know if it went with our emergency management policy or if it was part of the,
B3, these are all.
I think giving them all that is giving them more than they're really asking for.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And like you said, if you catch something where you're, always.
yeah. Just on page 12 too, the emergency phone numbers. That must be an updated, it said updated May 1st, 2023, just probably put 24 because we have new board members.
Because they're updated now, right? I had Lori go through and update. the
Yeah.
It's updated, it's not the little
Right,
reference
just the
at the
word
end.
there.
Just the date.
Just a general thought, it looks like we need a new roadmap. This thing looks like it was hand drawn by Bennington Wentworth.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Didn't have a second graduate.
And what's all the number systems? What's the code for it, basically?
Right.
Road numbers.
Oh, the 1, 2, 3s, yeah, I see
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Just a suggestion.
Maybe it's just something we shouldn't do. Just put it
So-
on a link to Google Earth.
We need to make a motion tonight to sign this.
I'll motion, sign.
Second?
Second, third.
Lori, do you have a clean copy? Because I don't, I messed up.
You want a red pen?
No.
Thank you.
20 years old,
Yeah. I think it's even older.
So, while we're waiting for this, Bill, you mentioned this class for the select board to take, and we talked about it, getting it here.
Yeah.
How's that going? Okay.
Reach out to Dara Zink, and I'm sure she will get
For
in.
the ISC,
Yeah, for the ICS
yeah,
100 or 400.
I'll get you information on
Yep.
that. There's,
It's a question of they would like to do unified class here.
Give me a copy when it's,
Yep.
Yeah.
So we can get it done.
get it done, and get the fire chief here at the same time, and
Yep.
do all that. We'll get you set up.
Thank you.
anything else on the emergency management?
Not at this time.
Okay. Moving on to turn over delinquent dog list to dog officer. Lori gave us a copy of the delinquent dog owners.
I guess, 2 dogs were licensed tonight, so you're down to 35.
Put 2 tonight.
Jackie Bullock.
35 is our typical average, basically.
Honestly, that's really good for this time of year.
Same people.
Excuse me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take your time.
Well, the same people that started probably is doing it.
Not unless you want to, whatever.
Well, same people 2 years ago, because they received.
Let's do it again.
Yep. So if you turn this over to Luke and he'll follow through with tickets and it goes to the court system. Does he give them, yes, he does give them so many days to pay the ticket or just ticket? I forgot.
I think there was, our new ordinance says he can send out a notice and fine them,
That's right.
and then there's a step before the ticket.
They're on a date for their release.
Should I take out of your chair? She's tough. She's tough. Yeah. Her work.
Okay, Deb has again requested a town email address for her as administrative officer. Last time last two meetings ago or 2 weeks ago, we voted no because of the expense, so Deb has come back to ask again. I think it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, it was-
Yeah, next one.
Yeah,
It was about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I don't care how you guys do it, it's just my responsibility for total accountability.
Mhm.
And if you rely on just my email, guess what, I'm not turning over my email to the town of Stamford. So, nor will I subscribe to a Gmail account because you end up with that same situation. If it belongs to me, it belongs to me. If it belongs to the town, then you keep it forever. I don't care one way or another, if you don't want my cell phone number or my personal email on a form that somebody else in 2 years may take over my job. I want it to be consistent. I don't understand the aversion to zoning administrator at Stamford, whatever. Not my name, not anybody's name. And I was confused that we thought it would open up a can of worms when it is the zoning administrator's responsibility to keep accurate records that are accessible to everybody. And if it's my book and my email address,
Well,
it's
how,
not happening.
how would somebody contact you if you don't have an email and you don't want your cell phone out, and you don't want your
I don't
phone?
mind my cell phone, I don't want it on a public piece of paper. They call in here, Lori has permission
Oh,
to get
okay,
my number.
okay.
You don't want it on the form.
So that we can take it off the form,
Yeah,
okay.
and just keep it the way it is.
So what was the cost of the extra? Was there a cost? What was
There
I
was
it?
think
a
the
whole bunch
main
of-
concern was everybody wanting, like,
Right,
you
and
know,
I
it
think
wasn't
that's
just
what
one
the
email,
allowance
it was
was.
like,
Right.
oh, some are gonna need.
So
like,
if they want
seven
one
days.
and then.
But there is no responsibility of an individual planning commission member to keep.
No, but there is for
Records.
dog officer and highway department.
Exactly.
So,
Shelley, you
but
have
they
an
don't
email address,
have-
correct?
No,
No,
no one but.
Lister
but
at
Laurie and
Stamford
Select-
dot.
I'm not a lister.
no,
But when we were doing the hearings, it said contact the lister and it gave your email address.
Standard VT
That might
lister
have
at
been-
gmail.com,
Right.
it's just a generic Gmail.
That,
Okay.
yeah, that wasn't.
It's right here.
Okay.
So, we can take that phone number off the form. And so then they'll call you, talk to you, you say yes, no, do this, do that, do whatever. And then you would, on the form, you would say approved or disapproved.
Mhm.
If you, either one, if you say disapprove, then they have the option of coming before the board because they have your notes.
Correct.
Or they have what you wrote down on the form, so that should be,
Yes,
that's the final decision.
that is the final.
Or if it's
decision.
approved and a neighbor disputes it, they can come to the board.
Mhm.
But it's already written down on the form.
Correct. Yeah, and again, I have no problem, I have a lot of people that do contact me via email, and I keep the notes, I don't delete them or anything, but it's not accessible to all of you.
Right, right.
And I think, Lori, most of the time for critical things, I keep you copied, so Lori has copies,
I
like
don't-
if somebody comes to me.
I don't really like the phone calls. I'd rather an email.
Well, no, and that's just, it.
Because-
If there is
so-
a phone call,
Does it
and
get
if
back to that sign situation
It's-
where he said.
So it's just like Nancy was just saying, if someone calls you and says, hey, I need to get a permit, and you say, no, you don't. Let's just say, okay, there you go. I talked to her, she said, no, I don't. That's all, now we're back to exactly what we're saying.
No, it's not,
No.
cause now our form says no permit needed.
my
But nobody
answer,
got the form.
my
That's what I'm
answer
saying.
to everybody that calls,
Get a form.
get a
Get
form.
form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I had one hiccup, and it was, who's it? John, the guy that sold me, that owns A1. Sorry. He called me and he said, do I need a permit for, reconstructing this? And I said, well, no, and then I called him right back and I said, look at that, was this a test, did you guys put me in?
No, but it's hard
But
because
it's
it's
not
right.
anymore.
all
It's
these
not
different-
anymore. Yeah. I
It's
just
hard because
tell him to come in.
it's human nature to say, don't bother me with that, you don't need a form.
Yep.
Because there's so many things I could ask you that I wouldn't need do I need to put a garden fence up this high? No. Do I need it? No. Do I need it for a helicopter pad? No. So you get to the point where
Write it down.
you're gonna have a million forms. That's why I like the emails, because you can just go, boop, get the form, you can send the form. I don't mind emails. The cost is the cost. We're gonna have to put that in the budget.
I think the AO is in an important enough position where they should probably have a town email.
Can we designate, like, I know,
So
like, she's
really-
gonna have an email, can we designate just a single email, so when we don't have to continually getting a new email for every
Yeah, I
person?
don't want my name
For
necessarily. on it.
AO, but you wouldn't
Yeah.
want the single email for Dave and AO and a dog catcher, all one email.
Just
No.
the AO.
Come on,
Just a
the,
Well,
single.
we really only,
AO.
when we're talking about giving, again, we really only have a few head of the departments that are employees. So, like you said, board members are not employees. They're appointed, where she's an employee now, right? She's got,
We appointed her, yeah.
but we're like, you know, you got a planning board member,
Crazy cost.
why would they need an email? You know, where the
Well, yeah. because that's the
Dave,
big
I know you don't want one, but Dave, it would be good for him to have one, or whoever wants, you know. I know you don't want one, but I'm saying is the guy that,
The
you know,
next one,
next year when we put a new guy in, because you didn't want to email.
Thank you.
No, but I'm just saying, I understand it, I do understand that that's the wave of the future, people need to do that, you know, a lot of people communicate with emails. I do think that, you know, it should be copied, it should be CC'd to someone, so everything's, you know, there's nothing where you, cause she's acting as a town official, if she says something on this email,
well, it's,
you know, we gotta.
we've already been in that
Like she pointed out too,
yes.
it's more transparency, like if we
It
get a
is.
case where we have to
Yeah.
investigate something, that's,
Right.
it's not public.
It's all there, yeah.
Yeah, if you read the zoning administrator's handbook, everything has to be documented,
Yeah,
everything.
so, and I'm looking at the cost, so I'm saying, okay, so if this was an onslaught of department heads, where we have Luke, David, and that's it, right? Who else would we have to worry about? Everyone else is a
Cemetery, yeah,
cemetery's elected,
yeah.
they can do their own thing. We don't have.
Conservation,
But
they're
these,
appointed.
they're just boards, you get $25 a board to wanna give my email.
They don't need it.
She has a rule that says everything must be in writing.
Mhm.
Where these other people, you know, they talk to the cemetery and say, yeah, all right, you wanna dig a hole next week, I'm gonna talk to the, you know, Flint Dagnoli. It's not a big deal, you know? I'm just saying that, I don't see the problem, I don't see it. If there is a problem, tell me, and, you know, convince me the other way, you know? I just don't see the problem with having an email.
You just sparked my memory on something.
And I actually use my personal email, and it's awful that I do, because I do have a town email.
Me too.
And if someday someone wants to take my email, I'm in trouble, you know, because there's just so much on there, I'd have to go back and wipe everything out and change all my passwords and everything, it'd be crazy, you know? So, I don't have a problem with it.
Again, it's not just for me, it's for the position, so the
Oh, yeah,
future
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well,
The
Make a
position
motion
should have-
then,
Make a motion to establish an email for the administrative officer.
Second.
okay.
5, vote yes.
Five. Yes,
Aye.
how are permits coming in and stuff, I mean, is there a lot of buildings, a lot of
No.
follow through, or,
No, really, it's been a little slow.
Anybody building without one?
I don't know of anybody, please, if you know of anybody.
So that'll always be the hardest
Yeah.
part, okay? That's gonna be, these aerial pictures now are, you know, pulling things up a little bit better, but that's always gonna be a hard thing. If someone does that and you don't turn your neighbor in, if I build something in the back of my house, nobody's gonna see it.
No.
So you might go hunting back there and go, oh geez, I wonder if he got a permit, now you could turn me in. Or you could say, maybe you already got one, you don't know. So, but for her to go up there and say, I'm gonna go deer hunting up there, I mean, it's just crazy, she's not gonna.
Unless you live right
Unless she's
downtown.
shot more deer where she
Live
is.
right downtown, everybody knows.
Right,
see, we
yeah, it's-
didn't put, we don't have a description for the AO either, and say, go around once a year and look and see.
No, there is no job description.
No.
No,
For the town,
we
but-
should have one, we talked about this a
Yeah.
million times, and we should get something, but even at that, you're gonna drive around on a road, you're not gonna get,
No.
hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna see.
Yeah, you're not hoofing it off in the middle of, I mean, I know where there's
Well,
camps in the woods that, you know, probably half the people in this room don't know where they are. And they're not mine, but.
That's where you're gonna get, I mean, you get into a situation there too, where you need law enforcement more and more too, if you're gonna go knock on people's doors.
Oh, yeah, that'd be crazy to go back and get this
No,
door.
I'm not gonna do that, but if somebody brings it to my attention, sure, I'm gonna go follow
Sure,
up.
send a
but-
letter to them.
But if if I get to that person's house and it's, a camp and it's all posted, I'm not.
No.
Or the guy yells out the door and says, get off my property, you're not gonna go out.
I did the census in 2010, and let me tell you, I had a lot of people tell me to get the blank.
Right,
off
oh,
their
yeah,
property.
you don't want anybody on their land.
Yep.
No, I understand that. They did, if I drove up your house and you didn't know it was me, or maybe if you did know it was me, you'd say, hey,
Get on.
get out of there, you know?
I'd invite you up for a beer. I don't have past, though.
I changed, I'm on light beer now.
Light.
I'll be up.
Not light now.
Pretty much anything except Bush, or I know, but.
Oh, but, yeah, no
I'm a big
lights.
fella.
I understand that.
I'm a big fella like that.
You don't like their social media campaign?
No, nothing to do with that. You know,
I just took a turn.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah,
All right.
and again, I don't wanna feel like it's special.
Lauren, set it up and then revise the form, take the phone number off the form. I think that's the only
And
place.
then you
where
just
this-
have to tell
Well,
them
she's
how to
got email,
access
that's all you need anyways, I mean,
So
you don't
we'll
need.
have it
phone.
set up and you'll probably have to come in and
it. Okay.
just learn how to access it.
You can do everything on your phone, although I never answer my phone,
I would
right?
recommend having it forwarded, just like
Was
forwarded.
it 7 days later, I'm like, hey, what do you need?
You get it forwarded to your email.
Yes.
Like it goes through the town, but it's forwarded to your
Yes,
email, so
right.
you don't have to keep logging in
Right,
all the time.
but it's all in the town one. Yep. Okay, review and accept tax anticipation bid.
So I have two bids for your consideration. Adams Community Bank offered a rate of 5.25. Berkshire Bank offered a rate of 4.60. We would borrow it here in June and pay it back in November when taxes are due.
How much are you anticipating borrowing?
300,000.
What happened to what we were talking about before, borrowing from ourselves?
I
I
think
thought we were gonna do that.
I think that we are going to do that, but the consolidation of all the accounts isn't happening by June 30th, and I need the money to pay the school.
This year.
Right,
So we had like a year lag.
Okay.
Right, like I couldn't pull it together in order to have enough money to pay the school, because we did think about that. So,
What were the numbers again, 5 and 4.6?
4.6 and 5.25.
I'd always say go with the, whichever,
Yeah, I like
Berkshire.
Adams Bank, but I've never dealt with Berkshire Bank, but I think
you've always dealt with Berkshire.
lower.
We've actually gotten loans from each of them.
Right.
Okay.
More
Last year
so
was
over-
Adams.
Yeah, but usually it's Berkshire Bank, but Adams has now created a municipal section, so they're trying to,
Call them and ask them if they'll go 4.6.
I was just gonna ask you to do that.
You know, we had them last year, if they wanna keep it, they gotta do that.
It's about $1,200 savings.
Everything's negotiable.
Yeah. They'll do it.
They'd be crazy not to.
And then
Berkshire
go
Bank's
with
got
the
crazy
It's a
hours.
good customer.
Yeah, and
Like
then go with
9 to
the
4
Friday.
during
Yeah.
the week, and they're not open on a Saturday.
Who's that?
Berkshire Bank, they got
Banker.
bankers hours, yeah.
I will call them and see if they will accept it. Can you authorize someone to sign the note so that the money can be funded, since we're already in June?
Make a motion that Nancy signs the note. You sign the note. Someone other than me.
Why not? 300,000? Gee. I need a lot of select board meetings here.
All right, thank you.
5%, I might lend it to you.
BOE Flag Day Ceremony.
So the Bennington Benevolent Protective Order of Elks every year invites us to their Flag Day ceremony. It takes place in Bennington at the Elks Lodge on Washington Avenue. This year it is Sunday, June 9th. So anybody who would like to go, you can bring your family to the festivities. They'll have a guest speaker. They will also give the town a flag, and you can receive the flag on behalf of the town. If anybody's interested in going, I would call them and let them know. Or
If you are
call
getting
them
in
and
touch
tell
with
them-
Lori, let her know, okay?
Yeah, June 9th, so it's this weekend,
Yeah, it's a set.
this Saturday.
Can't go.
No.
Okay.
Okay, assignment of town's interest in lot 276 Alpenwald. I believe last week we said, yes, we're going to assign our interest in that property.
So, yeah, this is, lot 276 in Alpenwald. The payment has been made to Kevin O'Toole, so, I guess this is the actual assignment, to assign it from us to this person, and then this person will just sit on the 1-year redemption.
Which one, you said?
Showers.
Showers?
So I believe the town doesn't have any lots. All of the lots in the last 2 tax sales,
I think with 1.5.
from
Oh,
these 2 tax sales.
Oh, from these two?
I
Oh, yeah,
think
the
all
old
of them
ones.
are spoken for now.
Yep.
Any property that's gone up for sale has been snatched up.
Quick, yep.
Yep.
Old business. Last week, the select board met with the school board, and I think it was a very good meeting. We had good discussion on ways we can try to reduce the taxes. Erica will look into these suggestions and get back to us. So it's a start. Seed saver letter, any response from the seed savers?
No.
Lori sent them a nice letter asking what their intentions were with the buildings and the equipment down at the tennis court. No response. What's that, Dave?
There was a car down there this evening.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Were they working or you don't know?
It was Heidi Peterson, she was down there, I think she's the one
Uh,
doing that now.
Oh, she's in charge of seed savers now?
Last I heard, but I don't know.
Oh.
I can't say, that
If
was
somebody's actually gonna do something
a
with
year or 2 ago, I don't know. Yeah.
Did you give them a date or deadline on when? to
By this
respond?
meeting, get back to us by this meeting.
I don't know if I said that, or just said, please let us know. I
Right.
don't know if I did one again.
If we don't see any movement down there, we should send another letter, say, look at it. We haven't seen any movement, we have till this date to get back to us, or we're gonna
it. Deadline.
remove the stuff, whatever we wanna call it. Cause we're gonna clean that mess up down there. All that cement and all that, get it done. Yeah, clean it up, do something with it. If we can move that building and use it for storage, put it up this
But if
way.
you, yeah,
Use it for storage, and,
hold some landscape and stuff.
yeah,
for sure.
or stuff, whatever.
Okay. And, the lawn bid, part of the bid package, bid specifications that we sent out, we asked to please do initial cleanup of plow damage at the school, pick up and remove branches and vegetative debris prior to first mowing. That has not been done. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, it's still
Yeah.
got divots out there.
The big one I was questioning is the insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Have you reached out and asked for that?
Yes, I have an insurance certificate.
We do, okay.
Okay. So I should call him and say, are you gonna clean up this stuff here in the schoolyard? The other question was, at one of the selectmen's meeting, I think we asked you, Dave, do you clean up the ditch along there, or did you say you and Mike had to clean up the ditch?
We dug it out years ago when we first got the excavator, because they hadn't been done in a while, but we've never picked up sticks or.
Right,
No.
you're right.
But did you say you were gonna clean it out again, or I guess I didn't?
I didn't have any plans on
Okay.
doing it, but.
Is it all, does it need
If it's
it?
something you
Is it
want
something
to
that
do.
we should have had done?
Well, I think you should have cleaned that up too.
Well, there's a difference between digging the
Not digging.
sediment and digging.
Not digging.
Right, just picking up sticks.
Yeah,
It's
what kind
removed
of-
with branches and vegetative debris prior to first mowing. Because he's supposed to trim along that fence line too.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if
if
it's
it's part
in
of
the
the
contract, it's not
contract,
yet done, you reach out to them, you say, hey, look, are you gonna do this or not? If not, you know, you breach the contract. If you're not doing it, you breach the contract. You can't go from there. Or it is what it is. You
Along
gotta
drainage
do your
ditch.
job.
Has anyone ever done a walk around with them and showed them
I
the
mean,
culvert?
He never
Who
came
knows?
up.
He's not even, he might be not even the guy, you know, the guy signing and stuff, and the guy's doing a job, or doing
Yeah.
stuff like that. And he might, maybe his employee's not doing his job, and he'd wanna know, you know?
Alright, I will call him and mention that, this hasn't been done. Is he planning to do it? If he's not, then we'll figure out something else. Okay. Seed savers. Any other old business, Lori?
No.
New business?
I don't know what constitutes. The lister positions in the VLCT response.
Okay. You want to go?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I emailed you guys, the response from VLCT, if we wanted to consider going back to elected lister positions. The reappraisal is done, the hard work is done, now it's just a matter of the handful of permits that are done every year. Is it something we wanna consider going back to doing this in-house? The recommendation was if we wanted to go back to elected listers, to have a special meeting with a town vote saying, yes, we wanna return to elected listers. And then have that, had enough of time so that then people can fill out paperwork for the March election. If you appoint people, they're supposed to have all of the training and certifications. If you elect them, the state has classes for free and they can learn on the job. So it's something to think about. The
So,
other,
we haven't had anyone come forward in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, at least, when we went back, when we went to appointment. So, I know it costs a little money for a special meeting, but right now, it's in our best interest to try to get someone to run. I think I think the state's wrong, but the state's the state. I don't understand why you can't give training to the same person if they're appointed and elected. I think that's ridiculous. And you can write to the governor and tell him I said that, but it just doesn't make sense. Exactly, but nevertheless, that's the deciding factor for me is, you can't get anybody educated on it, so people aren't gonna come do it. They're not gonna spend their money on, what's the job pay?
We don't have a.
Sad thing
I
is.
mean, I think it was $16 an hour, and you want people to go and get all this education before they get hired, you know? It's just, I think we should do it. I know it's gonna cost a little money for it, but we gotta, I think we should bring it back to where it was.
so, the other thought was, we had a contract for NEMRIC, but when grievances are over, because NEMRIC is the appraisal guy, but he's also our assessor. When grievances are over, there is no contract, so we reached out to him to ask about giving us a new contract, and it's kind of, what do they call it on the menu, a la carte, where you can pick what you want. The more services we want them to do, the more it will cost, and the more that, like, the assessor clerk can do here in-house, the less it will cost. So you guys can pretty much pick and choose the duties you want to hire out.
'Cause, I mean,
Well, we got the biggest audience we've probably ever had. Does anyone want to be a lister? Come on down.
Right, exactly.
I actually had
Service now.
applied.
I paid probably $75.
Oh, I thought it was 105, wasn't
Now,
it?
is there a license or a certification to hold that position?
For him.
For him.
For
It's
him?
just training, I don't think there is any license.
Now
For the
for-
listers.
Right, I'm just curious because that's a lot of money an hour.
What was his bill, what was his bill last, what did we pay last year? 26,000?
all his training.
I think it was 26,000.
Sure.
Now, I'm not saying that a lister could have done what they did this time around, but for us to have him be a lister now, for $100 an hour, what, make $75, whatever it
Whatever
is.
he gets.
If we paid $20 an hour, look at the savings, you know?
Yeah,
How many permits do you get in the course of a year?
For 50
10?
money.
Right.
At most?
Mhm.
And if the
That's
reappraisals
if
all
you're
the
lucky,
time.
right?
If you're lucky,
Yeah.
right.
And we have a district advisor that, have we seen her? Has she been down here in a year? Oh, maybe not.
What her name is.
The one thing that,
She gets paid by the state too, cause she covers Stamford, I haven't seen her yet.
the one thing that you said a while back, Sally, was if you get someone from the town, they understand the town more. They understand the houses and the people, and they know where it is. They don't, you know, these people are coming in here, they have no idea what they're doing, and it, you know, I think it'll be beneficial for us, that's all.
I've always said that, but to try and get people to do it.
Well, that's the
you
hard
can't
part,
get
yeah.
anybody to do it, cause it's not, you know, it's,
It's not
I
standard.
mean, when this
That's
is
not
all
true.
done
We
in
have
the
two
hours.
people apply,
Excuse me, I'm
Myself.
talking.
and someone else. There are people that came forward and applied.
It isn't my fault that they weren't.
I'm not saying, you're just saying nobody, it's difficult to get people to come forward.
There is.
It's not true. We have had people in the past that have come forward, and that's when you decided to go with, I think, Nemrick.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Right, they weren't, right, because they wouldn't be, they wouldn't be
They
listed.
didn't have the education,
Right.
Right.
so we had to hire a company with the education.
So if you're elected,
Right, so I'm the one that pushed to go the other way.
Then they will educate you.
Right, I pushed it the other way, it was elected, I thought it was better for us as a board to be able to hire or fire someone. Cause if you're elected, you're elected for 1 year. When you come in, you don't do your job, you get paid, you don't know what you're doing, we can't fire you.
3 years.
But now that we went that way, we can't get the education part of it,
okay.
so it's a hard move.
How many hours of education, what's the education?
There's different
I don't
levels,
know,
isn't there,
There's
Sally?
all
Yeah,
different
couple.
levels,
Yeah.
there you can go.
but when we did that move, I didn't know that. I didn't know that part,
Right.
that little piece that the state threw in on us. Cause it just doesn't make sense. But now I see that we're not, I mean, I don't even remember why we did. If we went with Nimerick, it might have been because we were doing evaluations or, I think they said they wouldn't do just one and they were
We
doing.
didn't wanna do one or the other, we wanted to do
Yeah, I think
We were
it was something
We were stuck.
stupid. It was another
We
thing
needed
that didn't make
to
sense.
And there isn't a whole lot of firms out there. We
I think
sent
that's
out
what it was, they
almost
wanted
20
both or none or
We
something like
sent out
that.
70.
How many positions would it be? Three?
Three.
Three.
And the hours,
Definitely
the problem
beneficial.
is you can't get a lot of people to do it, cause the hours just are not there. You're-
Right.
I mean, if you
No, but I
have
don't know that you
only get
necessarily
10
do it.
hours a week.
Can you
once
be a
the
lister
appraisal's done.
and an AO at the same time?
What's that?
Yeah.
You could be a lister and AO at the same time.
I don't think that's a
I
conflict.
don't know.
Right, so what I'm saying is she's already put the hours in as the AO, and it kind of
No,
marries
she,
each other at the same
she
time.
could be, because this is how we did it before, cause
Right.
when Ron was on,
Ron
Ron,
was
Dan and
on.
I,
Right,
see, every spring, we rode through every road.
right,
See, they don't do that anymore, they only go by permits, if this person didn't put a permit in, see you later.
right,
But we always went every road, because Ron was the AO, he got $100 every time, every
Yeah,
time he found
Sure.
something that was built, because
Right.
you know it's new, you know it's old.
yep.
And I mean, there's just so many advantages of having local,
Now, the assessor is you.
no,
No,
Well, who's the assessor right?
John.
But if he runs out, we don't have a position for that either. We could do that too.
we could have an assessor
And you'll
and
take that, right?
we could have an assessor.
Much does it pay?
That's
That's how you're gonna get somebody, I hate to tell
I
you.
know, that's it, and then you
Well,
get,
see, that is the problem. The problem is everybody's looking at the almighty dollar instead of
You're right.
looking for the benefit of the town of Stamford.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Yeah,
are a
you still-
small town, as I just got through saying, you won't even get 10 hours a week. Who are you going to get? You gotta get
Right.
somebody that doesn't work, that's wants
You do it.
something to do for a few hours, somebody that's,
On the other hand, you got
Tired,
five
has
people right in
2
front of you here getting $30 a meeting,
I mean, you
and
do
we're
it,
already under minimum
you
wage.
don't do it for the
So-
schedule, the hours, or the pay, you do it because you like numbers and it's a civic duty.
that's
But
exactly.
that's what I'm just
That's why you
saying,
come and
there
do
are
it.
people that will get involved.
That's why I'm still doing it. for
There are
30
people that
years,
will get
exactly.
There are a few, but there will
So
be.
right away, how much am I gonna get paid? Well, do you want somebody like
Well,
that? Or you want
He's
somebody
right
working
there, I
for the
mean,
town?
people wanna get paid.
You're not gonna get paid nothing. If you wanna be a
One-
lister, come on down.
One thing I can say is that, you're right, Dave's right, and you're right. You might have someone that go, hey, I'm gonna come down here for the good of the town, but you will have more if you did pay good, and you're right.
Well, it starts to go.
Nevertheless, we
Let
don't,
me
we
just
might,
tell you, as far as a reappraisal and what you paid per hour, did you get your money's worth for
No.
everything? There's your answer. Does more money pay?
no, and not only do we not,
Case closed.
this is an opinion now. Not only do my opinion is we didn't get our money, do you remember we hired someone before that we got rid of, or they quit, and we had to pay that person, and it was all screwed up? Yeah, so I agree with you. That's why I'm saying we should go back to
No,
like,
it depends on how people look at it, as I just got
So
through
if-
saying.
Yes,
Some
sir.
want it for the money, some want it. for
I
the-
understand. I mean, hey, I like money, I'll take some money if you want me to do it, but I'm not gonna do that job.
A lot of that goes to
Opinion.
speak where we're having a breakdown in community too, right? It's all about the
Right.
money, you gotta do it for the money.
Right, but if we go to elected and we get no one, and people go, geez, my taxes are going up, well, here's one of the reasons why your taxes are going up.
Yeah,
We had to hire a guy at $20,000 because no one wants to help out.
I think it was
That's
26,000.
Then you can just say, hey, I don't know what to tell
I
you.
can't remember what it was.
I think it
Well,
was
that's
26.
the whole thing, the thing is,
That's
that
compared to
lister
several
job
other
is so important to the town, as I say, and so important for our tax rate and everything, and we can't get anybody to do it, they go on everything else but the values of property.
I will try, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go back to the, elected, and if we need to have a special meeting, I would like to make a motion that we have a special meeting for that.
Second.
So the elected gets trained or the
Yes.
appointed gets trained?
The elected gets trained, the appointed don't, we're at appointed now, and no one,
The appointed will get trained, it's just,
so they
State
have to
won't
pay for it, right?
Right.
Yeah, they won't, they have to do it themselves.
Well, how much
Wait,
is the
what was that?
training?
Well, the state will pay.
Couldn't the
The state
town,
offers the
The
classes.
state will-
The state does offer the classes.
how much are those classes? Because
Wait a minute, no, the state will offer for appointed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just, oh,
No.
no,
No.
elected.
Elected.
Like Sally's appointed assessor clerk, okay? She doesn't do the assessing, she just does the clerk stuff, but she could go to all the classes. And the state will pay for it. So,
But not with a lister.
but not with, they'll pay for listers.
If they're elected, but right now they're appointed and they won't pay for it. So I don't know what the
No.
price is, but it wouldn't,
You can't appoint an assessor to do it unless they already have the education.
right.
That's,
Yes,
that's
that's
the
what it
kicker, is
was.
you
So
can't
have
appoint
to
them.
do the
without-
elected if you want
So you have to
in-house
do the
in town.
elected, and then they get the education for free. Now, you can transition and work on getting these people elected and like sign some form of a contract with Nemrick and keep him here and let the elected officials get
So
the
now,
training. You
now I
can
wanna
avoid.
know just the listers, not the assessors.
Yeah.
The lister, if they're appointed, we can appoint them right now. The lister's appointed, their lister is appointed, the state will not pay for their training. Is that correct?
Well,
I think
it's,
they have to
you're
have the
looking at it
training in order
backwards,
to
they
be
have to have
appointed.
the training in order to be appointed.
Okay, so we can't appoint you unless you have the training.
There you go.
But we can elect you without training.
Correct.
Gotcha. I stand by my motion.
Okay, we're gonna say we're going for elected listers. Now, nobody ran, so we want to appoint Marta to be a lister. Why can't, it's an elected position, and we're
If you're
filling
gonna
it.
appoint, yes, yes,
But so then I don't have the training yet, but then I would have to pay for the training?
but you're elected,
But-
so the state.
It's an
So as
elected
orders
position.
come out,
Oh.
It's an
But we
elected
can
position.
appoint for an open seat,
It's a trick,
like we did with the select, we've done that with the select board.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm asking.
Someone quits, we can appoint someone.
Yep.
Until the next election.
Only if they got.
until the next election.
So then
No,
that.
No, because then
An elected
then they are-
position.
they become elected by
No one.
the fact that it's an open,
Right.
electable seat.
The only difference between,
Okay, so we definitely should go
Yeah,
to this, like,
I-
let's see
yeah.
who
the
shows up.
only difference
Yeah.
between a lister and an assessor is an assessor is hired, a lister is elected.
Just
That's
the,
the
just
only
the name,
difference.
just the name.
But
Doesn't
then
have
like
to
the
say
same, the
training.
state gets a list, the
So if
assessor.
we get a lister elected, they can become an assessor.
They don't need to be. They're doing the same stuff.
After they get all their training.
Who's that first? Road commissioner is an elected
Who's that
official, I'm not elected.
Correct.
Lost on this.
That's right.
What's that second?
Yeah.
I will say the state of Vermont is gonna take up
Who's on
all
second?
over in the
Who's on
next
first?
3 to 4 years.
Oh, there's another kicker.
Yeah, they are taking it all over. Yeah.
There's the other kicker.
Yeah, that's the other
They're
thing.
taking it out of municipal control.
Yeah, they're gonna do all the recreation, they're gonna do
That's
everything.
exactly what's gonna
You
happen.
still want me to keep my motion?
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't second it yet, did we?
No, I don't care about the section, that's your right. I get what Sally wants me to do.
Kurt.
That's all.
Kurt,
No, we need to get it back to local people, it's just.
We'll try. We went one way, it didn't work, let's try something else.
Do
Well, it
you,
shouldn't be much because we've done a whole reappraisal this year. The only thing you're gonna have next year is the permits, how many you got, 10? At most, I mean, I don't know, I think maybe we might have had a record of 12 or 14 permits in 1 year, but I think
that was before.
that was,
my time.
yeah, that was
Wasn't
probably
now.
it. But this is what your local listers will find, and I can take you right around right now and tell you, and show you a few places, oh, well, their stuff's up, but nobody sees it. Well, I'm not,
The building police?
I'm a nobody, I'm only the clerk, remember that. You know, I
What
just-
if you saw a murder? Would you tell me?
I don't wanna be involved, isn't that what they say?
accessory?
She pleads the fifth.
See, that's what's wrong with this country.
If you see something, say
You
something,
know,
right?
little old ladies getting beat up on it, nobody says
You
anything.
don't, yeah, you don't turn in your friends.
What about the house, there was that one house up there, it was only
Every single
$92,000.
day.
Had trucks going back and forth, and nobody saw a thing. Nobody
That
saw
was
nothing.
before my time.
No, it was not. It was
Yes, it
2
was.
years ago, like fun, because it
That
was
was
in for
before my
93 and Brady had.
93. Do you know what today's date is?
I'm talking last year. He had it in for $96,000, and after he did all his work and nobody saw anything going on, I'm sure we didn't see the cement trucks coming up and saw nothing. And he sold it within a month for almost $500,000. Nobody saw a thing.
Well, at
And he
least he
probably
sold it,
said,
we're getting
"Thank you
taxes off
very
the
much for
weekend.
paying my taxes."
You know, we were this close to going to the executive session and adjourning. We were down to new business in like record time.
Do we have any
New build.
meetings coming up, Lori, that you know of? Is the school doing any special meetings?
So what happened to my motion?
What was your
Well, it's still
I
there,
seconded
she
it.
seconded it.
Oh,
We didn't, we had
you said
discussed.
third.
Well, no, Kurt told me it was, he did.
Right,
So you need to say all
I
in
didn't
favor
hear.
then? Did you?
Who's that?
right. All in favor?
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. All right, so we'll try to schedule a meeting when it works and
You think we should pull it together We have voting on August, what is it, 13th? You think
That
we
would be a
pull
good
it
time to
together
have
for the
it.
Monday night before?
So you have to put in your paperwork? You have to
I guess
get
we have to
signatures?
No, because we're not doing the election then,
This
are we?
is just for the town to change it over.
Just like a warrant article to say, do you want to
Then
go
in
back
January,
to?
Yeah.
if someone wants to pull papers, they can.
So in the meantime, we've got to hire somebody to be assessor, lister, something for a 25 grand list, because the election will be in March. And the April
Grand
grand
list
list
is all
is
set, so.
for next year.
Right.
So we'll
Well-
have to hire somebody for this year to
And then
do.
the work, like you said, you hired in March, it's only basically 1st of April, whatever there on the 1st of April. You got
Mhm.
April and May, and you got it set by the second week in June. There's your grand list.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for us to get the
Oh.
the knowledge, I guess, of what a lister would need, what the training would be, if there's a course name or something, say, okay, they have to do this, this, and this. So when we have that meeting, someone can say, well, what would it take? Maybe they can start getting it on, there might be someone that says, I'll do it on my own and have it. So when they run, they can use that for a campaign.
Isn't there a lister site that people can go on and,
Vermont,
is it
State
Ballot or
Well,
something?
I'm just saying, someone might say, hey, I'd like to do this right away and.
I've got all the
start doing
training,
that
I've
now,
done,
Yeah.
I've done 3-4 courses.
So I don't understanding it. If someone wanted to be a lister, they shouldn't run. They should just not run it, and then you would appoint, that seat would remain empty so that they could then be appointed and get trained. Am I hearing that? Or am I?
Well, if you're elected,
Either way,
you could get.
they could go either way, yeah. If they ran unopposed anyway, it would be that, either way, it would be
I think if we get 3 to run, that would be a good thing.
3.
We need 3 positions.
So I'm thinking, I'll take that right now. We won't get 3 to run.
Pay enough if you
You
want.
will.
I might get it.
Are you all stuck?
I'm just.
Dave, you
Hurry up, yes,
ready?
everybody, come on down, work for free.
Yeah, exactly.
You wanna go sign up?
It's not just a job, it's $0 a year.
Hey, it's an adventure.
So if you're gonna have someone do it now, would the town be willing to pay for whatever that course is?
Well, first they have to have the meeting to have the, it's like.
No, if we appointed someone, they would have to have the training before we appoint them.
So you can't
So
appoint
would we
anyone else.
be willing to pay for someone and then you don't come up for appointment? No.
I don't know, I'm trying to understand it all.
So I think that.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
It is
though. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I'll explain
It's,
to you
it-
guys.
you're right, the state's making it hard for you
Yeah.
to say, yeah, I'll do it.
Because
And
they
they
want
can't-
to take over this.
Yeah.
Cause the town can't really pay for your education until you're appointed, cause you might take it and then not, then change your mind.
It's like the
Yeah.
constable.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Or
crazy.
That's right, then
Or go
we
become
can
an
decide.
assessor for $100 an hour.
So I was gonna write the governor over that other thing, so now I got 2 things I'm gonna write the governor. Yeah, I am.
It's not okay.
See, the state already
Has
has set the school rate, so we're out of that. They tell you what the grand list and your homestead and all that for of the school rate, and yes, we have to reappraise so many years because you're out of that certain
If you're
percentage.
local listers, keep your.
They force
it
State
on.
set that. Within.
What else goes through the state?
And now they
All
wanna
the
force
license
more
and
upon you
water
guys.
license. Yeah.
Right? They want you to document everything, have policies on office policies and everything. It's getting overwhelming. Same thing what you talked about is getting to the point where it's hard to go out on the road because you're in the office going, oh, I gotta do this, gotta do this. They just keep
The
mandating.
state is going to take it over, look what they've done with the school, look with the supervisory union.
It chips away at the small town feel,
Yes, you're
little by
correct.
little.
Yeah, I mean, you go,
It's still rural when you
go
look
down to
at
Massachusetts and try to put a business in. You can't even sneeze down there. It's awful. And that, it's coming here. You know, California is the worst. They got restrictions. You can't even have a truck that's older than what? 2000?
That's right.
Can't even have it.
It's coming.
Laura,
You know, if you got
Lister
a
and
shop truck,
assessor.
you gotta get rid of it.
what's that?
The lister and the assessor handbook is online, and it also provides Nemrick offers tutorials and some webinars or seminars on there.
It's all.
So there's, yeah, it's all on there. I mean, there's
That's good.
numbers to call.
Yep.
It gives you the job description, everything.
Yep.
Part-time, so you
Cool.
know what you should be doing.
That's it with old business. I think we're on new. What else we have new? John, you wanted to bring something
I
up?
would like to ask or apply for a motion to apply for a permit for the town sign based on the current zoning bylaws. Apply for a permit and maybe get some numbers on what it would cost.
A new sign?
Yep.
Well, that's how I was gonna right off the bat, one of the, trying to think which committee it was now, the zoning committee, one of the people on that said, no one ever tried to compromise on that sign and come up with different ideas. It was either this or nothing. And I would like to, and I'm not saying we have to, but if we brought the old sign back, and it was approved, and I don't know if it would be or not, but I'd like to, before we spend money on a new sign, look at that sign and say, is it in good shape, is it worth using that sign? Because I agree with you, and I thought I wasn't ever gonna talk about a sign again.
Yeah, I don't really wanna bring it up either, but I don't wanna recur any costs on the town. I more or less feel like the town needs a sign, school needs a sign, and it should follow the
Right,
bylaws.
I agree. What we have out there now is the joke.
What old sign are we talking
The
about?
old sign was too big.
We now
It
have
was
two
too
old
close to the
signs.
road,
Which
so
old sign are we talking about?
We have.
The one that Daryl's
But why
got.
can't we ask the zoning commission for a grandfather that it was there before, why can't we just put it back?
Cause you can't do that.
I don't
Our
know,
current zoning bylaws, cause then.
I don't know,
Cause
the
that
zoning
old
board
sign
would have to
was
vote
too
on it.
big too,
The old
wasn't
sign
it?
was too big and too close to the
So
road.
we're
It's
talking
already
about the
been
original
taken
sign,
down.
put the
Yeah.
original sign back up?
Yeah, got a question?
But if we go back to what we've all discussed, was to have the planning commission talk about it, discuss it, to have a exemption for the town.
Right,
Isn't that something that if you guys do just say, hey, can the planning commission do that, would that be the best next step, and then you can move on, do
But
whatever
it's
we
not in
need
your
to do.
bylaws.
Well, you can change it, isn't that changing it, because the planning
Maybe
commission
it's
is
not
changing
like a
bylaws?
municipality law in town, I agree with you guys 100%.
I read
I
that.
just feel it's like we're a small town, we want people to abide by laws in town. Us as, who are enforcing these laws, we should be following those rules
right.
at the same time. That's,
It needs to go to planning commission for an amendment, is what it needs.
Either
And then
sign,
go through
either
the
of the two
process
old
of,
signs. I don't
the
think,
ordinance change.
I don't know that it's a good idea to put the original old sign back up. I really don't think that's gonna go over well at all, no. It's, I mean, like I said in the meeting when we took the sign down before, we're now on to a third sign, right? If we want a sign, we place ourselves.
The one that's there now is not good, I don't
No,
like it.
well, that's the thing, like, we need
I
a
don't know if
Get
we-
it in there for a permit.
sign, come on, guys.
They don't need a
Right.
permit for.
No, cause it's removable, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
No, not, no.
that's what I'm saying, and think about it, can we do that?
As long as it's facing the right way, if you can read it while they're
Yeah, that's the first
driving.
thing, make sure the next one
Yeah.
does face the right way so we can read it going.
But it's only one
Sheila
side,
wants
we
to
have to
say
have the
something.
letters on the other side.
Yeah, if you have two sides. so-
Everybody's talking at
Sheila.
once. Okay, this was mentioned before. If you take Vermont off, it fits in the bylaws.
Which sign are we talking about?
The old one.
The
is-
old one.
I don't think it's a good idea at all to go back to the original sign.
Why?
Because that's gonna create huge animosity in town. It's just gonna be,
And it's
we're
too
just
close to
beating,
the
we're
road.
beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
You have the purpose.
It's not a good
You
idea.
have the town.
Because you're proving a point that half the people made in town that it's all a vendetta, right? And it's all about personalities and we're now back to putting the original sign up. It's a terrible
It's
idea.
too close to the road.
It's a terrible idea. So we're on the sign.
But it can be, that can be,
It needs an
the zoning
amendment.
board could say, they could give permission for that.
And
They could do that.
Well,
They-
you have to amend the bylaws.
Remember, no, it wouldn't that need to do the bylaws, there's only one violation, right?
You got, the sign has multiple
Right,
violations.
but they could give a variance for one violation. They could.
I think they would have to do both.
I don't know, this is uncharted.
Jeff has a question.
They probably could do an amendment for if there was only one violation.
You know, and I tell you, I don't wanna be a smartass, but if we put it on wheels, is it movable and will it fit within the bylaws? I don't wanna be a smartass, I'm just saying that it's, I agree with John 100% that this town needs a sign.
No doubt.
Like I said, I didn't wanna talk about this anymore because it's been 2 years. It's just getting out of hand. Well, and now I'm pissed. Okay? Because we need a sign and that's all we got is this. You're right. You're not gonna win and you're not gonna win. We're gonna put a new sign up and we're all gonna agree on it.
The only compromise is sign number 3.
So my point my point would be is, all right, what can we get away with the bylaws thing? And if we can, so I do remember them saying that if there was, every other thing was in place, you could have a variance, if that's the only place you can put it. You know what I mean? Or if we have to put it back farther, and we can, we might not be able to because of the well, but that would be a reason why we can't. But if we can do that, let's do it. But this, going to the, if we can't do that, going to the bylaws and changing the bylaws, I read you guys that law, and I don't have it with me right now, but it is in the state that municipalities are exempt.
Yes.
Just put that state law in our bylaws.
No,
What happened was, our bylaws are too restrictive. We just need to open it up.
I totally agree that I think the town should be exempt
If
from things
anyone
like
says,
that.
well, we can't do it on our own yard, but you do it in this municipalities, you're right, we can. Just as simple as that, we can. Just like we can do things on the road that a contractor can't do.
Exactly. I mean, we're elected to do certain things, that's what we're doing.
Jim has a
I think if we're working on a third sign, I think we should go like Larkspur did with the electronic sign. And then
Oh, I
everything
don't
you
like
done,
that. I don't
you can
like
say
that.
everything you want, and it only stays in this little pack.
No.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
I hate that sign.
Me too.
I mean,
The people have spoken, Jen.
The youngest person in the
Sorry,
room.
Jen.
Sorry.
I guess basically the.
No, but that's all right, you got an opinion, that's fine.
I totally agree the town needs a sign. Basically, to sum up what I'm saying is if we're ever gonna get back to any sense of community in here, we're beyond both of those signs. It's over for one,
Right.
all right? We need to go on to a different sign.
Okay.
That's it.
So now my question would be, and I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, well, how big can you have a sign?
12
12
square feet and then do it.
We need a bigger sign. We need a bylaw.
So you guys that picture of the big.
2 by 6.
2 by 6, 3 by 4, yeah.
Just about, not much bigger than that picture.
You can't even read it.
How many signs can you have?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Do like the.
Well, if we put V-E-R, I can't spell the whole thing, but you can.
At least have it so you can read it.
Yes.
Right.
2 by 6, and then you can have school, town office, library.
We need that.
Those are
You
like
gotta
the
have
3
different posts for each one.
But it can be done.
I don't know. I'm happy to
It'll
find
look
that
terrible.
out.
Well, that's what, and I'm not asking you to, like, for a permit or anything, so you don't have to put this right, this is all recorded and everything.
Yeah.
I'm saying is, if we think outside the box, because it is ridiculous that we don't have signs. Ridiculous, okay? We need to have a sign, period. I mean, when you go by and they have a kindergartner put out a sign, that they painted on.
I just feel bad for like the 8th grade class or graduating, if they wanted to go out there and have a nice picture with
Yeah.
a sign, there's nothing for
They have a
them.
sandwich.
There's nothing for them, yeah, they
Well,
got
we
those
should have
stands
to bring the
for it.
sign down, put it up here for pictures. Yep.
We have the Photoshop.
We get a big rock there and then we just label it.
I was saying, take one of the, we should have kept the old town truck that we got rid of, or the old grader, we could have put it on the side of the grader, and that's how we do
There's
it.
part there, that's there.
Well, at least have it so you
I
can
take
read
it,
it
just
from
one
both
side,
sides.
If we take the letters off.
I can't read that when you go north.
I agree with you, I think that the sign that was up that just was taken down was incomplete, that was what I said a long time ago. It was incomplete, needed to have more to it.
Well, all the schools
Yeah,
go by
everything you
like
need
Corona,
is
Stamford
now.
We needed to turn and needed to like both sides.
Put a hay wagon.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, I feel like they bring it up, but we need a sign, the school needs a sign.
Doug has a thought too.
I don't know whether this would fly or not. We have the size that's permitted for a sign, maybe the size of the picture. Why couldn't we have a post with several different signs on it? Each sign is legal.
That's if it's hanging from it, does it add to the square footage?
Yeah, well, that's what I
There's a lot of
wondered.
semantics involved in it.
But you say
Well,
so
maybe it'll be
many
a
miles
difference.
to the North Pole, South Pole.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm telling you, if you took,
The problem with any sign, one of the problems with any sign there is that it's on a hill, right? The farther you go back away from the road frontage that you need, the farther down the hill you go.
well,
And
it
the closer
definitely
you
has
get
to be
left-
this way. It can't be.
It would be nice if we can read it.
It has to be both, so you're reading both ways. That other sign we had it going
Yeah,
on.
well, that sign is the type of sign that would look great, like it's the town line or something.
Right. You know, I wouldn't have a problem putting that on the building.
Right.
You know,
That's
just
what I
fix it
just
for
said.
building.
But you can't, we can put
I
a
don't
sign
listen
on
to
the
you,
building,
I
right?
can't, not what.
No, I don't think you can actually put a sign on a building, because then it is
Oh.
a sign, but you can take the letters off
Right,
and put the letters on
right.
it. Do it tomorrow, put the letters on the building, at least do
Right,
it.
so that the board behind it is the sign. Or the building.
Yes,
It's not a sign, it's not a
you
sign.
can paint Stamford, Vermont on it.
Right.
Without a permit, so
Right.
put the letters.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But I would like to have, I like the idea of having 3 signs or whatever we need here, library, school, and
You
town
gotta
hall.
have a sign that says.
I would love to have that.
office. I sit
All you have
right
to do is
here,
get a piece of
Yeah.
paper
Walking
and
around.
draw it on there to what you think the letters would be. Put it out there, go up the road, look and see if it looks all right, and say, yeah, it'll work. If it works, then we can have it designed and signed.
Tell you one thing, I've never gone through this much hassle before to follow one rule.
No, usually I just break the rule and ask for forgiveness later.
Was it a year
So
and
we
a half?
survey and ask for designs. That way.
Lisa?
The issue came up though, that if it's too small, like what Doug, I appreciate what you're saying, but if it's that size, nobody's gonna be able to read Stamford or whatever it says, safely driving, going 50 by, oh, not by, excuse me.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, 50 is right.
But you will have it.
Now we're going
We'll
into a
have to-
different
I think we
subject.
have to amend it for the municipality no matter what, so you can sign big enough for safety reasons.
Isn't there some kind of, we have a whole new planning board basically, isn't there some kind of appeal that we can make to them?
I don't know.
Add
Like I said, I got
add
to
that
the point
exemption,
where,
add that exemption into the bylaws.
Yeah,
I got to the point where
that's it.
I was fed up with it. I really.
So I think,
Send it to the
I
planning
think we
board.
should make a motion to send it to the planning board and have them add some kind of exemption for towns on signage.
So that,
Towns, even churches, fire station, any public facility.
Can't you ask for an increase
That's
the
a-
size?
Then everybody will say, won't get
Yeah,
permits.
churches are.
People won't get permits.
that's a lengthy process, so it might be a lot quicker to work on a new sign.
Yeah, because by the time we go to planning commission, they have their public
Won't need it
meetings.
anymore, we'll have
The
it.
one
We
thing
have our
though,
public
the
meetings.
one thing Sheila, is when you just said everybody won't get permits, we're not asking for everybody, we're asking for municipalities.
But if you don't have to, they won't.
That's
No,
not true.
That's not true. Right now, there's a state law that says municipalities are exempt. If you go down to North Adams right now, the municipality of North Adams is exempt.
Massachusetts.
That's mass.
Right? Well, Bennington has
More
the
and
same
more,
thing.
more and more municipalities.
Bennington has the same thing. You have big monster signs in municipalities. Schools in the town hall in Bennington are huge. Fire departments, huge. Because they have, I guarantee, if we had a sign on our fire department, a big sign, not one person would complain about it. Because it's municipalities. And it is exempt. Our bylaws might not say it, but the state law does. And you can make your bylaw any damn thing you want it to say, and you can exempt yourself. It doesn't make, it's like fining ourselves. If the zoning board, if we didn't take that down, they're gonna fine us. So we're gonna pay them with
Go ahead.
the town money, and then they're gonna have the town money in their budget, it's not our budget. It doesn't even make sense. None of this makes sense.
Absolutely, agree with all that.
Are you done?
No, it's like being in the twilight zone. I'm not done.
3 times I went to talking, you shut me off, I'm not saying nothing now.
No,
Did you raise it? I didn't see your hand raised.
I know, he kept shooting.
Oh,
well, we had hearing of visitors earlier.
About the sign.
No, but this is, I thought this was
I
pretty
was
good.
trying in on it with the
So what is,
what's your comment?
so I mean, what are we gonna do now? Form a sign committee?
Did you make your hand?
What's your,
I did before.
oh,
Laura's had her hand up for 22 minutes.
I know, I
I
just
just
said,
wanna
when
see
you
how
put
long-
the sign up, we could have something that says town. I sit here, numerous people come out here, they're walking around the building, they come here, they're walking through, they have no idea where to go. That's all they're asking.
We're in agreement right
Can you
now.
just put a damn sign?
I would love to. I will put one out there right now. You can find me, I don't care.
Maybe we should form a sign committee.
That's
Oh,
right.
don't get me.
Let's do that.
Like an ATV committee? Remember that? That was fun.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you, seriously, if we have to go to the planning board and ask for the bylaws,
No.
why can't we do both?
Because then you're gonna have people.
Why can't we do both?
No.
We come up with a plan of a sign, and we submit the sign, like John said, we can submit 3 signs, right? 3 signs. We'll ask people for designs, we don't even have to get the design yet, all we have to do is ask, can we have 3 signs? If they say yes, we can put 3 signs out there, and what is our limitation for size? They'll tell us, okay? Can we have a variance, before we go any further, can we have a variance on the size for the reading, for safety reasons, like Lisa said? And if they say no, okay, that's fine, they say
10
no.
feet, I believe.
But at the exact same time, we petition the planning board for the bylaws. It's the exact thing. Do both.
So you don't need to ask them what you can and cannot do, you just read the bylaws and it's in
Okay.
there, and it's
Yeah.
like either a black and white yes or no.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
could we just put the signs
But we
on the
can-
building, town office, school?
I said that.
you can, but that doesn't,
But we still
that
don't see
doesn't
them.
solve the big problem.
No.
That says that when, like you're saying, someone comes here, they go, oh, there's the town, right? They don't walk out here. But that doesn't solve the problem that the guy that says, I'm going to get a fishing license, I just moved up here, and he drove right by.
Right, because it doesn't
You
know
know,
it's
so he
here.
goes, geez, I wonder where this town hall is.
Right, that's a school.
Yeah.
Well, it's not rocket science to figure out when there's a big sign that says Stamford. I think I could figure out that's the town office, like.
Well, it's not there anymore though.
I mean, just if it says Stamford, I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
agree
yeah.
with Nancy, if we had school and town office where the town office goes, and
Yeah.
a library sign, but I mean, I think when you, it only takes a few minutes drive to the whole town.
In
It could
10
be
years,
like,
absolutely, everyone will be using Google Maps, no one will be looking at signs.
All right, we don't need a sign, let's move on.
no, we need a sign, I just don't think it has to say.
I like the best one, the wheeler in, wheeler out.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
they, panels are even on the side of one. I know, we can go buy the ice cream place,
Oh,
write it on that, and sell ice cream at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a soul or
Someone did
something.
What would you like? Hard ice cream or wood? All right.
It's gone, it's off.
It's gone from teachers. Did he take it?
Well, I don't know, I'm sorry I brought it up, but yeah, I feel like we need a sign, so whatever.
No, don't feel bad you brought it up, because it's, I agree with you 100%, we need a sign.
I agree.
But how do we get there?
Yeah, I don't know, I just wanna follow the rules, so we don't have the same problems like we did before. Even if I gotta bring in a cardboard cutout of what a 3x4 is and say, this is what we're allowed.
Yeah.
Basically, the bottom, I mean, I guess the bottom line is without some kind of an exemption, we can't have any sign worthwhile.
I'm gonna tell you though, 3x4 is a lot bigger than that,
Yeah, a little bit,
okay?
A little bit
a
bigger.
little bit.
Because
But still,
I'm just a little over 4 foot tall.
I mean, but it's still without some kind of exemption or waiver on the sign square footage, I don't think we're gonna have any sign that represents the size of a sign that we need to be efficient.
No.
Well, I think if we had 3x4 3 times, we might be able to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, could you put
it might look a
3
little
signs
ridiculous, but at least we'll get our information out
Dave
there.
Sutton said it only has to be that far apart.
Yeah,
The different signs on the same post.
So we're gonna, so.
All I'm saying is, present it.
We're gonna ruin the aesthetics of a sign to make it legal.
It's art.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know if we would, I think it might look okay. I think you could.
Well, then people have that in their back of their houses, you ever see them, it's like a big portrait, and they have like 3 different, they break it up.
Yeah,
You
it
can
might,
put it
it might look good. Maybe you put a triangle out there.
Yeah,
Maybe we could mount them on some bed knobs and
put a coupe,
some bed
put a
covers.
box,
I
yeah.
think you're just being sarcastic now.
Oh, Lori, Lori,
I
Lori.
need more cowbell.
Well, anyway, yeah, so hopefully
That other one could be.
So what do you want to do?
get it
I
right.
don't know.
Iris, go ahead, John. See what we
It could be.
You ever watch
See what we figure.
the Jungle Book,
No,
and the 3
they don't want to
vultures,
do
so what do you want?
And that other one
It's not first.
was readable on both sides.
So
I
you
would say,
So you're gonna send it to the planning commission because it's been kicked around, no offense, here for like years, I feel like.
Yeah.
oh, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe just see if what we
It's
can
been
do
going
at
on
the
for a
planning
while.
commission level. With the exemption, I think we can figure that out too.
I would ask. Why can't we ask?
Somebody has, I don't feel
Can
like
we
I
just,
can't.
can we just ask them?
I mean, if it's a state law, how can how,
Right.
I mean, how can they say no?
Right.
Well, let's ask them.
Well, they told me
State
to
law
take the other one
trumps a lot
down.
of our bylaws.
I don't think they're privy, I
What's
don't know that
State
they're
law
privy, I
trumps
don't
a
know
lot
that
of
they're
our
privy to the
bylaws
law.
right now.
Right, if the bylaw
Oh, yeah.
conflicts with the
Oh.
state law, then it's no good. The bylaw can be more stringent.
Not anymore, not when it comes to a lot of the
I think you can-
density and zoning. No.
No, I thought it could be more stringent.
Accessory dwelling
So what was
units,
the
all of
distance
that.
off the road?
Well-
The state,
You can't change
you
it.
no, our bylaws don't mean anything.
So if we brought that to their attention,
Then you never
and
know.
we show them this, I'll bring it there and show
If you could
Say,
send
go ahead
out a
and talk.
document,
them. Huh?
I think that would be helpful.
To just get that, oh yeah, I'd love to spar with my
Mix it up.
counterparts on that board. Be fun.
So what are we doing then?
It's a
We
whole
go-
different
That's a
board.
whole different board.
Whole different board, whole different.
I am
whole different
feeling
relationship with the board.
Yeah.
Do the ask.
Mondays
gonna-
at 7 o'clock.
Request,
7 o'clock, yeah.
7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Well, what the hell, we're here now. What,
I know.
request the planning board to amend the bylaws or look into that state law
Look
and
into
see?
that, look into the exemption for,
Yes.
municipalities.
Yeah, look into it, if it's possible, if not, can we amend the bylaws to change that? If not, that's fine, I just wanna know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new board and it kinda smells like a power shift, so.
So I guess, when is it, the next board meeting for the planning board?
For
Monday and
July 1st.
July first.
The
How do you
first
know
Monday?
that?
Isn't that like vacation?
I didn't even tell anyone yet, Lori, how'd you know?
Somebody at the last meeting, somebody said the first Monday.
Decided today.
Kurt, so the
The
first
first
Monday.
Monday,
Yeah.
I think I got an email today about it.
Okay,
First,
July first,
I don't have.
you did not write
I
that?
don't have
it's a
all.
Monday, July 4th would be on.
Or Thursday.
So are you guys not having a meeting on July 4th?
Or you need to write that.
I got a basement.
Busy.
But, yeah, so that won't be vacation, it'll be the
I
following.
know.
We'll get $20 from you.
Yeah.
Bye. Here we go.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd go, if you remind me, I'll go and I'll ask, what can we do to go forward? Can we amend anything? Here's the state law. I don't have that now, I'll have to find it again.
I have it, but I
You
don't
got
have it on me though, I have it.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, and, I'd go and just ask. It won't hurt to ask. They can say, no, get out of here.
I like the carousel idea, northeast, southwest, that's cool.
So I'd like to make a motion that John goes to the meeting. Oh, you gotta learn this better.
Yeah, whatever, man.
No, I'll go with you, we'll go with this popular, does the board
Just
mind
wanna
that?
put a sign out in front lawn, it
And the
doesn't
board- well, I guess-
spar the people in town against each other, you know what I mean?
I just want permission from the board that we go and represent the board and not just, citizens, and ask if we can do this. Yeah?
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second it. I'll second it.
Thanks.
3 strikes and you're out, so to speak, with this sign.
All in
Yeah,
favor?
we kinda gotta hit the nail on the
I
head.
put my neck out there again, cause I was done with it.
You were done with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All yes?
All yes, all yes? Okay. Mike, you had something else.
No, I can't remember where I am.
Lori, were you gonna say something about that veto? Governor's
Oh.
veto,
Oh, you can talk.
875?
I wanna see.
Oh, yeah, I emailed you guys about the state, wanting to, a bill that is close to passing on ethics. I mean, we all support ethics, that's not the issue, but this bill, VLCT is recommending that everyone contact their governor and ask him to veto it because it dumps all the responsibility on the towns for enforcement, developing policies, record keeping.
Documentation, yeah.
Documentation.
Why doesn't the state want that? I mean, why doesn't the state wanna take control of that?
Well,
That's another
right,
Yeah, right?
right, I mean, you have to have policies, you have to document every complaint and how it's disposed of. You have to have training and,
Okay, John.
people, everybody that's on a judicial bureau, quasi-judicial, so zoning boards, select boards, all have to go to training every year on this stuff.
What's gonna happen, it's gonna be like the volunteer fire department. You gotta, instead of taking 40 hours, now it's 60 hours. Instead of taking 3 courses a year, it's 5 courses. And you get nobody to volunteer. They say this is too much for a volunteer position. And it's the state pushing down our throats. And what'll happen is that no one will apply for a select board or this or that, and the state will come in and say, no problem, we'll run it for you.
Yeah, seems like.
More record,
Yep.
more record keeping,
So you
and
have to write the governor to ask him
So
to
he's got
veto.
5 days to veto it, or it becomes a law.
Yeah.
So the push is to really get everybody to veto this.
What's the name of it again?
875.
875.
25.
It's in your email.
Email your governor.
Email the governor,
Mr.
call the
Scott.
governor. What?
Is there a form that you just sign, or do you have to send your own?
No, the VLCT wrote to the town clerks saying, this is what the bill proposes, this is how it's gonna affect municipalities, and we recommend you write to a governor and say, please veto it. It's too much for little towns. You have to have people set up to investigate every claim, to dispose of every claim. You have to have enforcement for every claim and penalties. We don't have the funds, we don't have the personnel, we don't have the ability
It's just
as a little town.
pushing more and more.
So yeah, if anybody's interested, I can.
Is there a number as a citizen?
It must be Governor Howe.
Yeah, if you go on the governor's,
Even if, you
you
know,
go on
even
the
if you don't
state's
get
site,
through, they keep
all the
track,
information.
they keep track.
I mean, I could forward the email and the governor contact information for anybody who'd like to
Yeah.
write, so, yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier just to put that on your website? Just so you don't have to email anybody.
So put it in the minutes.
But
Right.
it's.
It's only good for 5 days. I mean, I'd rather just email to people who are going to respond.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's gonna be done
2 days
when?
away.
Tomorrow?
Next 5 days from Monday.
5 days from what, 2 days ago? So you probably have 3 days,
Alright.
so,
Business days,
Pick out the weekend.
weekends,
they don't say, just says 5
Probably
days.
just if
It
you
will
wanna
become
do
a
it, do it
law if he
tomorrow.
doesn't
Yeah.
veto
yeah,
it.
get it done by tomorrow if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not good.
He's almost got me on a personal first name basis now. Well, he's got one.
Okay. Any other new business? Okay, I make a motion to go in executive session for personnel matters.
Second.
All in favor?